He died as the most powerful mage ever. Everyone saw him as the father of magic. He died using a new spell to kill a demon, but ran out of energy, like Kakashi. He woke up 50 years later as Minato and thinks everyone is weak. Now the master of magic has to go to school. At least the girls are cute. The guy who lived here before was hit by a truck, so our hero took his place. Even the doctor was shocked he healed so fast. It's like he has holy magic, which he actually does. He died in 1970. By 2022, the world is at peace. TVs are thin. People watch K-pop and follow trends. Brain rot has taken over. After being discharged, he goes to Minato Kusanigi's house. A truck hit his... So he grew up alone on their money. With no reincarnation magic, he thinks it was God or just luck. It was Truck-kun. Now he's a student at a magic academy and already interested. Suddenly, Tedanok calls but decides to ignore it. Of course, a classic bully is picking on the weak. The next day, we arrive at Kamui Magic Academy. Someone casts a spell, but it's as weak as a lighter flames. Deeply disappoints the world's strongest mage. Watching the students realizes how bad world has become. And that's before he even sees the dance trends. In his day, even a beginner could do 10 times better. Maybe it's because the world is too peaceful now. Walking into class, he feels at ease and wonders if he has friends. A furious bully confronts Minato for ignoring him. Minato asks who he is, making the redhead snap. He tries to kick Minato, and so he calls him trash to hurt his feelings instead. Minato realizes this is the guy from yesterday and thinks they are friends. Tadano demands money since they are friends, but Minato's reply makes him angrier. Tadano knows there is inheritance money and he wants it. Minato finally realizes this body used to get bullied. The redhead is about to hit him when a girl walks into the classroom. She must be the school goddess. Blue hair, blue eyes, and a very noticeable tie. A thick white skirt. Tadano instantly turns red and acts completely shy. Still furious, he tells Minato not to forget and storms out kicking things. The board showed details about the global catastrophe. The teacher asked for thoughts explaining it was humanity's last major disaster. Back then, monsters overran the world until the first mage, Yukikami Minato, fought them alone, died defeating a high-ranking demon, and peace has lasted ever since. When the teacher asked who saved the world, a smiling blue-haired girl raised her hand. Misa answered that he was the sole survivor and history's first mage, which is why the academy was built. With shining eyes, the teacher confirmed it, adding that the academy trains mages to be like shaking with embarrassment. Ichigami wished he hadn't come. Remembering the doctor's words, he realized that mages had grown weak during times of peace. The boy silently watched the birds outside the window. With a faint smile, he felt glad things turned out this way. The teacher dismissed the class and announced a magic test for tomorrow. Tadano mocked his classmates, saying he couldn't wait to see their pathetic powers. Ikami figured the bully was just bored and wasn't worth his time. Ignoring the redhead, Ikami silently walked toward the exit, but the bullies kept throwing insults. Suddenly, Ikami stopped, looked back, and called the redhead a loser. The annoyed bully snapped, "Who do you think you are?" Without waiting, the bully cast a powerful spell. The students panicked as a blonde boy yelled, "Magic in class!" Tadano fired a blast. Everyone ran, but Ichigami stayed still. Zizuha rushed to protect him, but he didn't move as the fire hit. A loud explosion shook the room. Students shielded their eyes. The girl couldn't believe a simple argument led to this. Looking at the mess, she said none of it was worth it. Tadano snapped that he was only reacting to being provoked. The smoke cleared to show he was fine, leaving everyone stunned. Minato scratched his head, confused. Tadano couldn't believe his magic failed. He thought a low-level attack would be easy to block without magic. Toino panicked when he said he was only being nice because he was a kid. Ichukima coldly stated that bad people needed to be taught a lesson, shocking the redhead and his goons. Suddenly, a terrifying energy burst from him. A bright light flashed through the room. Seeing blue particles in the air, the students couldn't move. Confused, Makai tried to figure what kind of magic it was. The redhead shook with fear as the protagonist walked toward him with a scary aura. He realized the MC was about to attack him. The bully froze, saving the redhead. The teacher walked in, asking what the noise was and who used magic in class. The protagonist sighed, smiled, and said nothing happened, guessing someone used magic outside. When the teacher said the courtyard was empty, the MC said maybe outsiders were playing around. Teacher asked about the smoke, but Ichukami pointed to the window and blamed the wind. Trusting him, the teacher believed it. promised to look into it, and dismissed the class. The protagonist waved to the teacher, trying not to stand out. He knew he had to be much more careful from now on. Mizuha was still in shock, unable to believe her eyes. Tadano kept cursing him. Minato felt the students were too weak to handle the monsters. In the hallway, he decided to scan the city for any monsters. At night, Shibuya looked like wreck. He climbed a building to get a better look. Looking down, he saw how much the city had changed. He used his magic circle to boost himself through the dark. He felt no monsters, but wondered why police were still patrolling the ruins. Suddenly, he sensed a monster nearby. On the roof's edge, he felt someone's energy right below him. He jumped off the building toward the danger without a second thought. He saw monsters surrounding a terrified woman, Rosnando. The monsters bared their fangs to attack, but the boy suddenly appeared. The beast lunged at him instantly. Spikes burst from the ground, killing them all. Minato turned and saw the woman crying. He saw her police badge and, relieved, he told her to be careful. She thanked him, embarrassed. She watched him vanish, wondering who the mysterious spell-free mage was. He was glad he hid his face to avoid attention. He worried that weak police and mages couldn't handle low-level monsters. He looked at the sky and smiled. People still needed him. He scanned the city, planning to wipe out every monster. The teacher pointed to a device for testing magic power. He said students must find their element and take it seriously. The boy was shocked. He thought you should just feel your own power, not use a machine. Mizuha walked up and asked the MC to talk in private. Students stared, shocked to see her speaking to him. The blue-haired girl said she was a noble mage's daughter. The boy asked, confused, what that was supposed to mean. Mizuha was stunned. He didn't know her family led the mage houses. He thought nobles didn't exist anymore, and didn't even know her name. Seeing her weak aura, he doubted she was from a famous family. She was confused by his reaction. Tadano glared at her, then Ikami asked why a noble wanted to talk. Mizuha kept her cool, wanting to know how he survived her blast. The teacher interrupted for the test, and boy smiled in relief. Mizuha hoped to learn his power level soon. Tadano charged his hand with energy and said it was his turn. Without a second thought, the redhead touched the crystal, and a flame appeared inside. The system said his power was 1,000 and his element fire. The bully cheered at his improvement, but the hero noted the scale hadn't changed in 50 years. Mizuha stepped up, glowing with a blue aura. She placed her hand on the crystal. Water droplets began forming inside the crystal. The system announced her power was 2,000 and her element water, shocking everyone in the room. Tadano said confidently, "Those are the top scores this year. They'll definitely become great mages." The blue-haired girl walked over, proud of her success. Classmates cheered for them. The hero was stunned that such a low level now ranked as the best. Mizuha smiled. Sure, it was her bloodline's power. Ichukami looked away, annoyed by her smug look. The hero grew worried when his name was called. As he walked to the machine, students whispered that he was the worst. A redhead noted he aced tests but failed practice. Tadano smiled, waiting for him to fail in front of Mizuha. Curious, she wanted to see his magic level quickly. Sure, it couldn't beat hers. Minato stopped in front of the machine. Nervous, he wondered whether to show off or cheat. Feeling everyone stare, he took a deep breath and touched the crystal. Colorful energy flashed instantly. Smiling, he released his power to see if the device could handle it. Huge energy built up, and bright light lit up the whole castle. Some students felt the intense pressure. Confused, Mizuha asked what was happening, her eyes widening as the numbers changed too fast. The crystal cracked, and a pillar of light shot from the castle into the sky. The machine shook with energy, and suddenly, a loud explosion filled the room. Shocked, the students saw that the crystal had shattered. Standing in the dust, he was surprised the machine broke, since he hadn't even used his full strength. Ikami looked at the students on the floor, wondering if they felt his power. The teacher walked over and asked if everyone was okay. He checked on the main guy, who said he was just lucky. The teacher looked at the blast site, amazed and thinking the device was broken. He worried they couldn't test the boy's power now. The boy asked why it mattered, so the teacher explained they needed to know everyone's strength for combat training. Tadano was wiping his neck when the teacher asked if he would take another teammate. The bullies glared at the boy with hate, but the redhead just gave a fake smile. Tadano stood up and agreed. The teacher said he knew he could count on him. The sarcastic redhead walked to Minato and said he had been waiting for this. Meanwhile, the old city of Shibuya was still in ruins. Monsters still roamed the ruined disaster zones. Police and mages patrolled the ruins to clear monsters, and students had to help. He said most monsters were gone, so it was safe. The protagonist was shocked the academy held real fights, doubted the students could beat any monsters. Looking around, he realized this was where he had cleared all the creatures last night. Yet he still felt traces of magic, no new disaster, but monsters kept appearing. A girl challenged a classmate and Minato sighed at their recklessness. Mizuha looked at him suspiciously. Teacher then told the class to start working in teams. Suddenly, someone called out to the MC. The MC leaned against a ruined wall with a smug grin. Tadano said no one would interrupt, and there would be no mercy. Ichami, a deep Minato calmly told him, just ignore it. The angry redhead yelled that he was speaking. Furious, Tadano asked Mizuha, cared about someone so weak. Confused, asked if the bully liked her. The redhead, Rage, called the MC a name and used his magic, saying he was a dead man. Ikami told him to stop, but Tano said it was too late. The MC told him to look back, but the bully refused to fall for it. Suddenly, a weird noise caught his attention. They looked back to see a giant monster covered in dark energy. The boys' eyes went wide in disbelief. Feeling the heavy pressure, they asked what was happening. How is the demon guard here? A thug. Terrified. The guys wondered if Tadano win, he said, shooting fire at the monster. It's over. His friends cheered, but when the smoke cleared, the monster was completely unhurt. Seeing that, the redhead forced a nervous smile. Standing behind him, the MC knew no one here could beat a top-class demon guard. As the creature stepped forward, students shook with fear and Tadano fell to his knees in shock. The monster's shadow fell over them. The bully panicked, thinking they were all going to die right then. The guard lunged with sharp claws but suddenly froze. Minato stood right in front of him, his face perfectly calm. The monster remembered how that energy tore through his body and made blood spray everywhere. Suddenly the creature flew backward, rolling away from the guys. The MC said, even a demon guard should know who is strongest. Looking up, Monster saw the MC's powerful aura and began to shake with fear. Magic circles appeared over the guard's head as he chanted a spell. But then Minato used his magic. Shocked, Tadano said it was over. The monster hurled a huge rock at the students. Minato just smiled and shot a fire arrow, blowing up the beast. The terrified students covered their faces while Minato watched coldly. When they opened their eyes, they were stunned. Tadano couldn't believe Minato beat the demon guard. Looking at the purple crystal, Minato knew something was wrong. Demon guards were supposed to be extinct for 50 years. Worried, Minato wondered if a disaster was coming early. These monsters were already attacking normal people. Minato decided that if a new disaster hit, he would do everything he could to save as many people as possible. Meanwhile, the jealous bully couldn't accept that his classmate had killed the demon guard. At that moment, Mizuha was hiding and watching everything unfold. She used her magic first, summoning water discs that cut off the beast's legs. Her friends were silent. They expected this from her. She wondered why such basic magic surprised them. She acted proud, but she worried for the people. Bullies stood by the hero, while Tadano waved his arms. Mizuha left her friends to stop the bullies. She decided she had to step in. She peeked and saw the demon guard. She hid quickly as her heart started racing. Her hands shook, knowing she was alone. Still, she ran to help like a true noble. She held out her hand and told her classmates to run. A wave of fire swept past and a huge explosion made her cover her face. All she could see was fire. That's when she realized the protagonist was the one who cast that magic. Confused, Mizu tried to understand what had just happened. Remembering how he used to walk with his head down, his current confidence made him look like a different person. Noticing his serious face, she realized he beat a first-class demon guard without even chanting. Demons are ranked in a strict hierarchy based on their crystals. At the bottom are magic beasts, which have a single crystal on their forehead. Above them are magic guardians, identified by an extra crystal in their chest. Next are the demons with 1 crystal on their chest and 2 on their shoulders. Right after them are supreme demons with 4 crystals, followed by those with 5. And at the absolute top is the demon god with 6 crystals. Each creature has a fixed power level. That's basic stuff for any mage today. Mizuha thought it took level 3 to beat a demon guard. Then she saw Minato walk toward the beast. He said she had a strange hobby. Leaning on the wall, Mizuha asked how he knew. Said a mage would notice. They stared at each other in silence. Minato asked if she couldn't feel the magic. Shocked, Mizuha chased him and demanded answers. Minato stood on a roof. Glad he lost her. He looked around to spot any monsters. 5 dark signals appeared. No guards, but plenty of beasts were near. Minato doubted the students could handle it, even with Tadano's help. To clear the area, he cast a spell and set magic shots across the city. When they felt that huge burst of power, the students were shocked. Trapped by the monsters, they realized there were too many to fight at once. A monster attacked a girl, but magic killed it before she was hurt. As his shots hit their marks, Minato felt things were under control. The monsters fell one by one, making things easier for the students. Looking around, he saw he went too far and killed almost every monster. He admitted he should have held back, as this was only a lesson. Then he flew over the city and checked to make sure no one was near. He landed in an alley next to a dead monster. He knew he didn't need to hide his power, but drawing attention would only cause trouble. Later, the teacher and students checked the dead monster. Teacher stood up, shocked to see a huge pack nearby. Looking closely, he saw the beast died in one blow, which required extreme skill. Deep in the alley, he noticed a non-elemental spell that made countless projectiles. He knew they'd be in danger without help since the students couldn't fight so many enemies. Shocked, the students asked why the beasts weren't killed sooner. Ashamed, the teacher bowed and apologized. He said the police should have handled it. The academy failed completely, and he felt terrible for risking the kids' lives. The upset students looked at each other. A girl asked who saved them. The teacher didn't know, and she said she wanted to thank their mysterious savior. The teacher figured it probably wasn't the police or official mages. It must have been a rogue mage. Smiling, he decided they still deserved thanks, which made our protagonist happy. Meanwhile, in the ruined city, the students excitedly discussed the magic. Minato noticed no one was hurt, but Tadano was boiling with rage. Still, the protagonist felt relieved that even the bully and his thugs were safe. Mizua grew suspicious, remembering her classmate had beaten a top-tier demon. She wondered if he used all that magic. She doubted anyone could use both fire and non-elemental magic at once. No student had both. She figured the magic was someone else's, but she still wondered how he beat that guard. A boy guessed those beams were his too. Tadano said that was impossible, but the boy argued he beat a guard. Tadano snapped, telling him to quiet down or else. The redhead insisted no quiet kid could be that strong and called him a liar. The goons were confused by how angry the bully acted. Tadano raged, calling the protagonist a cheater and vowing to expose him. After class, Ikami walked through the city and was cornered by students. The redhead blocked his path and began to taunt him. The boy stayed calm, telling them to practice magic instead of wasting time. That just annoyed the bully more, and he started calling him a liar again. Realizing arguing was useless, tried to leave, but Tadano stopped him, saying at least he didn't run. The hero replied that he had no reason to run. The redhead said he wasn't invincible and lunged at him, but he just stood there, using no magic. They all attacked, but a magic barrier protected him. Mizua intervened, calling it bullying, told the students to leave, grabbed his hand, and walked away, leaving Tadano stunned. Still, the bully blamed him for everything. Desperate, he used magic to attack Minato, leaving the girl panicked. Tadano and his group attacked the hero, who didn't react, while his friend ran over to shield him. It was too late. Flames swallowed them both. To everyone's surprise, the girl was unharmed. The redhead boasted that the hero couldn't have survived that much power. Through the smoke, the hero called their actions childish and needed discipline. He vowed to punish them. Tadano, alive, couldn't believe it. Right after, Minato said the redhead put both him and the girl in danger. Furious, the bully yelled it was their fault for looking down on him. Tadano used his magic and shouted he would attack until the guy was gone. The main character just raised one finger. A small magic circle appeared. The bullies laughed at how small it was. Sure of a win, they shouted he would die in fired flames. The guy calmly used his small circle to drain their magic. Long vines shot out fast. The vines grabbed the bullies. They felt weak. Then the light glowed and they passed out. Draining their magic, he hoped to teach them a lesson. Mizua stared, confused by the magic and why they fainted. As Mato left, the girl asked she wanted to know what magic he had used. She asked what the spell did, if he already knew magic, and who he really was. He looked away, finding it too hard to explain. So Manito just told her she should have asked something else. Feeling awkward, she thanked him but pressed for answers. Finding him gone, she got annoyed. Night, the full moon lit. Shabuya, Minato appeared in magic circle, realized he was steady but sensed something wrong. The defeated beasts and demon guard were back. Mono knew he could handle Shabuya, but the danger was spreading too fast for the police to stop. Seeing the policewoman shake at Tadano's summon proved to him that modern mages were weak. Then he faced a tough truth. He couldn't beat all of Japan's demons alone. He had to be quick and smart. So, he chose to clear areas slowly to stay hidden. Minato heard a man say he'd had too much to drink, unaware of the danger sneaking up behind him. Before the monster struck, he knocked it away and vanished. The scared man, confused, told himself it was just his imagination. Watching from afar, Minato saw the man didn't notice a thing, glad he kept using his magic to move on. But someone was recording it all on a phone, smiling. The blonde guy knew he had the perfect video to go viral. The video preview played on screen, looking impressive. The next day, worried students stood by the principal's desk. The teacher demanded answers about illegal magic use, asking calm protagonist and Mizu to explain. Furious, the redhead blamed the MC and lied that Mito started the fight. The protagonist was shocked by how easily he lied. Seeing the teacher and principal waiting for answers, the MC knew he couldn't stay silent. Before he spoke, Mizuha angrily shouted that it was a lie, accusing the bullies of using magic first. The teacher asked if Minato used magic too. Mizuha argued it was self-defense. The protagonist was stunned by her help. Tadano tried to protest, but she quickly told him to be quiet. Angry, Mizuha said the fight made no sense and asked the bully if he felt no shame blaming an innocent person. The redhead snapped that the MC should be expelled. Mizuha quickly shot back that he was the one who didn't belong there. The guy bragged about his top grades, claiming only he was good enough for her. Mizuha backed away, confused, while Tadano argued the MC could never protect her. He desperately asked her out. She rejected him instantly, telling him to keep dreaming, leaving the bully completely shocked and speechless. She said she'd never date a bully who enjoyed being cruel and confessed at the worst time. The redhead collapsed and the lead just watched, feeling sorry for him. The principal blamed the bullies, noting the magic was used in self-defense. He expelled them, saying selfishness had no place. At the school, they panicked, claiming they only followed orders. The teacher then sent everyone home and apologized for the trouble. In the hall, Mizuha said she hadn't been that mad in ages and called their behavior gross. The hero asked what happens after expulsion, and she said they couldn't be mages anymore. She asked Minato why he stayed quiet. He said he was about to defend himself, but she cut him off, leaving her confused. Thinking of her past help, he realized she'd always been there for him. He quickly paid her a compliment, which embarrassed her. She asked him not to say things like that when they were alone. He thought about his new life and wondered if he died from bullying or an accident. He accepts he'll never know the truth, but thinks they already paid for it. Later, school leaders talk about a magic incident, noting no one was hurt. Mizu was involved. But it's quiet, her dad is still funding the school. Rumors spread among students about Ikami's incredible strength. Some even wonder if he's stronger than expert mages, so they decide to test his real power. Meanwhile, Ikami wonders how long this peace will last. Students watch a strange video of a hooded mage, but he ignores it. Teacher calls Mito, making everyone curious then. The teacher announces a retest for those who failed. Mizuha hopes to see what the MC can really do. The students are shocked by what they see. Ruka arrives to watch the test. She won't judge Ichikami herself, which only makes Mizuha more curious. Fearing another disaster, Mito very careful with his mana when touching the crystal. The numbers climb fast, then he stops. The teacher walks over to check on. He announces the test is a success, but says Ichami has magic, shocking Mizuha and the others. When they say the MC only has 100, students call him weak. Ryan wonders if that's the guy who beat up those delinquents. Ruka is disappointed and wants to leave. Two students keep teasing the MC for being so weak. The teacher tries to comfort Minato, saying magic power isn't everything. Mizuha finds the result odd, no true strength. Ichikami acts tired but is happy he got the result he wanted. Adjusting his uniform, Minato felt that controlling his power was exhausting. Walking with Misa, he asked why she was at the test area. Before she could answer, someone blocked their way and told them to stop. It was Ruka and Regin. Minato impatiently asked who they were. Ruka stepped up and introduced herself and Rugen. What do you want? Minato asked, completely bored. The girl walked up and said, I don't care about you. Mizuha flinched. Ruka asked her sister, can't you handle criminals alone? I heard a weak guy saved you. Mizuha admitted it was true. Ruka asked, are you still worse than me at school, sports, and magic? The question made her even more nervous. Ruka pressured her, saying, leave the academy. Ruka remembered always beating her sister in school. In fact, she never lost a training match. Ruka had more mana and much better magic. Ruka always walked away after winning. You have no talent, she said. One representative is enough. You, Mizuhe cried, and lowered her head. Mito interrupted. It's incredibly arrogant. Ruka asked what he meant. Mito called her arrogant for silencing everyone, but she snapped that it was a family matter, not his concern. Our lead told her that wasn't a conversation. It was just a demand disguised as one. Ruka exploded at that, calling him a jerk. Mito told her to stop forcing her ways on others. The lead said there was no proof of that, but Ruka insisted Mizui had no talent and could never beat her. The younger sister suffered silently and just gave in. She remembered when she was once confident in her talent. She thought she had it all. Now Mizua just hung, her head crying because she couldn't beat her sisters. Suddenly Mito said his friend would win. The girl looked surprised, stunned by what she just heard. Fused Ruka asked if he really thought his sister could beat her. Minato replied firmly that it might not be today, but it would happen in the future. Ruka then challenged him to a duel in 2 weeks. Minto asked if it was a 2-on-2 magic fight. Ruka smirked and dared him not to back down after all his talk. The hero agreed to the duel, and Minto stood ready to fight. He asked what Mizuha would do, and she nervously said she would join in. Minto was happy. Set they won, Ruka had to back off. Ruka mocked him, saying if she won, her sister must leave the academy. She and Ryujin soon left. Later, Minto met Mizuha on the roof, asked him to be her mentor. Minto sighed, trying to refuse by saying he was the weakest mage with very little mana. Mizuha said she knew he was hiding his true power. She added that she only took the deal because she believed he could help her get stronger. Minto realized she saw things and she bowed and begged him to mentor her. Minto sighed and agreed, surprising her. He told her to follow his instructions exactly. He couldn't refuse her determination. Minto said they would start training today at a secret spot. Mizuha shyly suggested they train at her house. They arrive at the girl's house. Looking around, he realized the house was huge. Warming up, Mizuha realized this was her first time bringing a boy over. She quickly looked away, telling herself it wasn't weird. Minato stopped looking around and said it was time to start, calling her Uka. Confused, Mizuha asked why he used her first name. He explained it was because her family shared a last name. She looked down and refused his offer to call her anything else. He smiled and decided to start the training. The MC stepped closer and asked her to explain magical power. She answered it was inner energy used for magic, then asked if intent could increase it. Still smiling, she said that was impossible since the limit is set at birth. She proudly asked if her explanation was perfect. He calmly replied that she was completely wrong. Zua almost cried, asking how. The protagonist couldn't believe how ignorant modern mages were. He explained that magic exists in nature and intent can increase mana. Shocked, she yelled that if that were true, magic science would be far more advanced. Minato closed his eyes calmly and told her that even if she didn't believe him, he'd explain everything. He told Mizuha to let her mana flow naturally, saying she had to feel it to get stronger. He guided her, wrapping them both in mana. Suddenly, he released a burst of energy, filling the entire area with mana. Mizuha screamed as a strange feeling took over her body. He looked at her and said, "That's magic perception." Trembling, Mizuha asked if that was the hidden power. Minato nodded, explaining that now she could sense mana in everything around them. She smiled confidently and said she could handle it. Minato wondered if it only worked because of his flow, since she had no natural talent. A week passed by. Soon Mizuha showed up yelling in frustration that nothing worked. Minato looked exhausted. After a week of hard training, she still didn't get the basics. Watched him nervously as he offered to guide her magical flow again. He placed his hand on her back once more. After a moment, she opened her eyes. Her eyes went wide. Mizuha screamed that she could everything now, smiling at the mana particles floating around them. Staring at her hand, she could barely believe she was seeing magic. Then she looked at Minato to see his mana. Looking closely, she didn't see much and felt confused by how faint it was. Minato praised her, making her blush. He explained that now that she could feel mana, she had to learn to control it and watch her usage. Her main task was using it efficiently. If she ran out, it would recover and even increase over time. He added that since she could already sense it, control should be easy. Then he asked how that changed their view of magic and if she could handle it. Mizuha cut him off, saying she trusted him. Meet smiled, ready to start, and told her to attack. The hero took off his coat and told her to come at him. She jumped aside, ready to show him what she could do. She shot water discs at him, but he easily blocked them with a barrier. Mizuha was shocked how fast he stopped her magic. He dropped the shield, saying she had to break it to beat Ruka. Frustrated, she tried again. As he blocked her, Mito warned her not to stop moving or she'd lose. Mizuha made another magic circle. Soon after, she collapsed from exhaustion. Mato covered her with a blanket. He said she controlled her mana. She wouldn't need. Next, he used fire magic and showed her how Mizuha did it. He cast the same spell, but Mizuha thought his power was fading. He confirmed that with enough control, she could cast spells silently, leaving her stunned. He told her to shorten her chance and eventually stop using them. Mizuha wondered if that would truly make her stronger. He turned and said, "Yes, exactly. Let's start with a surprise." Minato held out his hand, looking half dead, and she panicked. With Mizua down, Minato said they would train this way daily. The scene moves to Harajuku, with him wearing a cloak. He realized monsters were everywhere, and they never stopped coming. He sensed danger, turned, and saw a beast charging at a girl. He didn't hesitate, rushed over, and tore the monster's head off. He asked if she was okay, but she just started filming him. He was annoyed she recorded him, so he put his hood up, jumped away, and vowed to wear a mask next time. Next morning, Mizu hit the ground again during training. She struggled to catch her breath after the hard session. He stood there, worried because the competition was almost here. She wasn't improving fast enough, but he saw how hard she was pushing. He told her to quit, but she stood up, saying she was tired of being compared to her sister and giving up on things. She yelled that she never gave up on magic because of him. He said at that rate she would never win. Though tired, Miss asked him to train harder. He smiled, saying he wouldn't hold back. She smiled too and got ready to fight. He quickly explained how the spell worked, and Mizo immediately attacked him again. By nightfall, she was so tired that he had to carry her. The next day, Minato smiled and praised his student's success. Mizua dropped to the ground, celebrating her progress. He praised her again, and she just smiled happily. Finally, the day of the magic competition arrived. He looked around and was surprised to see something strange. A crowd was packed ahead of them. Reporters came up asking about the upcoming duel. Walking with Mizua, he wondered why everyone was watching. She said people were curious about the family fight, and he thought it involved the magic nobles. The scene moves to the arena. He thought it was extra, but Mizua said rare magic duels were big events. He gave her a look. Their names were called. Mizua jumped up and started shaking. He just smiled and told her to do her best. Surprised, she stared at him, and then smiled back. Mizua walked confidently to the arena. She thought Minato was great. Facing Ruka, her sister looked shocked she showed up. Mizua frowned. Ruka calmly asked if she really thought she could win. She crossed her arms and waited. Mizua got annoyed and said she was sure she would win. Ruka just gave her a sarcastic smile. Feeling her sister's power, Mizua braced herself. Scared but determined, she smiled and stood her ground. The duel began. Both girls got ready. Mizua back to cast while Ruka started a spell. Minato saw Ruka use basic tack. While Mizua got sloppy, they aimed their magic at each other. Mizua fired a water disc. Ruka copied her. Spells clashed. Mizua blocked it. Surprised, she matched Ruka's power. An annoyed Ruka told her it was a step up from before. That thrilled Mizua, and she couldn't hide her joy. Seeing this, Ruka coldly asked what she was so happy about. She added that it wasn't a compliment, just a fact. Ruka boosted her magic and Mizu matched her. Ruka fired a second-level blast that hit Mizu. Head-on, she was thrown from the arena and landed right at the announcer's feet. Watching her, he thought Mizua was better at reading spells, but she lacked her opponent's raw power. Ruka walked to the ring's edge and called Minato heartless for not helping the girl. He replied there was no need to step in still. Shaking, struggled to her feet. Ruka called her an idiot for trying to move after a level 2 hit. Mizua looked up and vowed not to lose. She yelled that magic was all she had and cast a quick spell. Ruka used level 2 again. Their powers clashed in the middle. Mizua shook but held on until she finally collapsed. Ruka was named the winner. Stayed Mizgua's the ground, feeling her defeat. Minato realized success came from power and control. The MC was annoyed when Ruka said Mizua had no talent. The man stood up and agreed with those words. Mizua felt hurt when he called her clumsy and unskilled. Then he smiled and praised her grit. He told everyone he liked people like her, and the girl began to cry. Minato declared that Mizuha was his student, and he wouldn't let anyone talk down to her. The girl sobbed harder. Ruka snapped that it was an honor for a weakling like her. Minato said sternly that Mage would beat her. Ruka glared, calling him arrogant and saying he wasn't worth fighting. Ryujin appeared, grinning, excited that it was finally his turn. As he left, Ruka told him to finish it quickly. Meanwhile, the hero carried his student to safety. He sat her down, telling her to watch. Mizua looked confused, then saw her wounds had healed. Minato entered the arena, planning to hide his true power. He worried about not having a barrier. Smirking, he accepted the risk. Ruka boasted he wouldn't hold back. Minato said he would be the one holding back. Students mocked them from the stands. Run readied himself. The hero saw his power was 8,000, while his own was capped at 100. A shout started the duel, and Ryujin attacked immediately. Building power, he asked if the hero had any combat experience. He then threw a punch, taunting him to take the hit. A magic blast hit his head. The hero pointed his hand like a weapon and said it was too late. Ryujin's fans were stunned. The referee called the match. for Minato while he stood over his unconscious opponent. Ruka ran to her friend, shocked that Ryun fell from one hit with no chant. She suspected cheating. Minato walked past with his hands in his pockets. "Fast, just like she asked," he said, making Ruka furious. Mizwa jumped from the stands, sweating. "That was incredible," she said. Ruka looked at him with pride and spite, saying he might have some worth. Minato coldly asked if she was comparing them. Ruka snapped back, and Minato sensed her 10,000 power. Soon they faced off for the next. The judge announced the rules. Minato smiled, and Ruka grew tense. They began to duel. Minato fired a weak shot, which Ruka blocked. She countered with a water spell that hit him square. Then she saw something impossible. Minato just waved his hand and swatted the attack away. Ruka was stunned. He took no damage without even using magic. The students in the stands were shocked to see Ichikami didn't have a single scratch. Mizwa wondered about his power. Ruka kept attacking, but Minato just dodged everything in silence. She was confused, thinking he was holding back to stay safe while dodging without magic. Nervous, Ruka realized dodging like that was impossible and wondered if he felt any fear at all. She stared at him, realizing his calm focus required incredible courage and sharp magic senses. Suddenly, she chanted a new spell, activating a level 3 to unleash a powerful water blast called Asura Splash. The shocked crowd yelled that Minato wouldn't survive a direct hit after. A loud boom, Ruka fell to her knees exhausted, wiped her sweat, and said there was no way to dodge. Suddenly, an attack hit her head. Looking up, Ruka saw Minato standing there unharmed, pointing his hand like a gun. In desperation, she yelled, wanting to know how he escaped. Minato answered bluntly that he used a technique to absorb her magic and walked right through the attack. Hearing this, she noticed the deep marks her own attack had left behind. She froze in shock. Suddenly, she began laughing uncontrollably, wondering how this could happen. Few minutes later, she calmly admitted it was a total defeat. Immediately after, the judge announced the victory of contestant Kusanagi Minato. Minato turned around and saw his student running toward him. With a genuine said, "They won," and Mizua smiled softly. Back. Moved, Ruka stood up, promised not to interfere anymore, and told him he was free to do what he wanted, surprising Mizua. Minato sighed. "Mizua is fine," Ruka held back. "I did not," Ruka snapped. Minato frowned. "She got stronger in 2 weeks." "Stop being overprotective." Mizua clenched her fist. "I'll get even stronger, so you won't have to worry anymore." Ruka smiled. "I believe in you." I watched them make up, happy with how things turned out. Suddenly, a terrible, heavy pressure-filled, strange magic appeared, and cold sweat ran down Minato's face. Everyone looked up at the sky. "This is a disaster, T," I thought. Meanwhile, in an empty classroom, Tadeno yelled, "Clean this up fast." A blonde guy holding a book replied, "There's nothing special in his backpack, just normal materials." Tadeno gritted his teeth. "He's hiding something. Minato shouldn't be that strong." Suddenly, the blonde stepped back in shock. "What is that?" Tadeno looked confused. Fear filled his face. The 3 delinquents looked out the big window and saw the sky turning a scary red. The blue-haired boy stepped back. "This can't be real," he yelled. In the arena, I looked up and felt a dark magic spreading everywhere. I recognized that powerful magic instantly. Everyone stared at the sky, knowing it was a disaster. Students panicked and screamed in confusion. I watched the why here. The first disaster started at this school too. This can't be a coincidence. Suddenly, huge portals opened everywhere, and monsters started crawling out, spreading instant terror. The students screamed in panic while the teacher tried to calm them. Suddenly, a bright light appeared, caused by the hero's magic. He protected some students with a green magic shield and told them to be calm. The students watched Minato in shock. He calmly said small monsters were coming, so they should head to the gym together. He told the sisters to hide. Mizua asked what he would do. Minato said he would save the others. The teacher called it reckless. Ryujin said he would help too. Teacher finally agreed. Ryujin teased Minato about dying, but Minato just smiled and told his student he would be back soon. Mizua told him to be careful. Ryujin dashed off, sure he could outrun Minato. He was shocked to see Minato right beside him using magic on his feet. The hero looked at him and said he would lead the way. Ryujin admitted he was impressed by his speed. Ryujin raced ahead, wanting to see Minato sensed many people in danger. Inside, he jumped to the roof and saw beasts attacking students in the halls. Minato flew through the opening without a second thought. Inside, Minato kept blasting monsters. Panicked, put deeper. When a monster tried to jump him, he just raised his hand and erased it. Moments later, Ryujin ran up, shouting to ask how things were going. He saw the hero standing among the defeated monsters. Minato walked past stone-faced and told him to handle the evacuation. Ryujin panicked, sweating, and tried to warn him not to go alone. When he turned back, the hero was gone. He was just too fast. Confused, the boy felt useless, having no answer for it. Seeing the bodies, he realized the hero had killed dozens in seconds. Minato raced through the rooms, using quick magic to keep the students safe. The hero attacked a creature, then rushed to another room, saving the students just in time. After wiping out another monster and hearing the students cheer, he realized escorting them was too slow and formed a new plan. Nearby, Ryujin fought a beast, telling students to stay calm and head for the exit. Suddenly, someone pointed up terrified and asked what that was. Ryujin looked up and saw 3 students floating in green magic. He was shocked, realizing only the hero could do this, and wondered who Minato was. Hero watched with a smile. Ryan was doing well, but something felt wrong. A girl with pink hair stood frozen as monsters surrounded her. She started shaking and went into shock. She screamed for help. Suddenly, a bright light flashed. The hero appeared and quickly destroyed the monsters. The girl stood up, completely stunned. She recalled seeing that same energy destroy another monster earlier. Minato finished the monsters, walked to her, and asked if she was okay. Embarrassed, the girl asked if he saved her. Minato simply said yes, helped her up, and confirmed he was in the training. Still surprised, she bowed and thanked him for saving her life twice. Minato smiled and told her not to worry, since he hadn't done anything special. That made the girl feel even more embarrassed. Soon Ryan ran up, sweaty and out of breath, asking who needed help next. The hero went upstairs, left the girl with him, and said she'd be safe while he moved on. She called his name before he left. Rai was confused. Minato rushed to the next floor, unable to wait for police, but wondering if it was truly the fastest way. At the White House, the president announced that a disaster started at the Divine Magic Academy. Panicked officials yelled about a similar event 50 years ago, demanding answers. The president calmly said Aegis police and army forces were deployed. One man noted these troops only knew magic, not monster combat. The anxious president realized peace had weakened their army. Slamming his fist on the table, he knew Akami wouldn't survive another tragedy. A boy and girl sped in an official car. He calmly said the disaster had begun and errors weren't allowed. She nervously said that nothing like this had happened in 50 years. He replied that peace never lasts. Inspector Shido said that's why their monster hunting unit was there. Karin promised to do her best, driving fast toward the academy with police cars behind them. Meanwhile, a live broadcast announced a disaster at the Divine Magic Academy. Monsters overran the campus, spawning endlessly. News clips showed students hiding in the gym, while reporters said the beasts appeared inside the walls. Outside, teachers and older students used magic to hold the line and survive. Meanwhile, regular people watched the fight unfold in real time on their phones. The massive swarm made escape impossible. Watching the news, a young man told his friend the school was close. Before anyone could reply, his friend panicked as monsters flooded their own city streets. Looking down from above, someone noticed the empty streets and flying monsters spreading everywhere. Inside school, a few boys just laughed and mocked the chaos. At home, elderly citizens watched the TV in fear. Meanwhile, the hero sprinted through the halls. Knowing the crisis was worsening, he burst into classrooms to rescue trapped students. As the monsters grew stronger, Minato realized they would keep spawning until their leader was defeated. Walking past the creatures' bodies, he realized the boss would only appear at the end. His only choice was to survive until then. Minato stayed calm and expressionless. Knowing a disaster this big would have serious consequences, he focused his magic to teleport the rescued students to Rouge, sending a message that he'd saved 20 people, but finding the rest was hard. He ran back through the hallways, deciding where to go next. Meanwhile, Tadano was in an office using fire magic to push back the monsters. Exhausted, he realized it was useless to keep fighting. He could barely move to protect himself or his friend. A scary demon guardian approached. The blue-haired bully panicked, asking why it returned, while the blonde yelled to run. Frustrated, Tadano punched the ground, angry that the protagonist could kill it in one hit while he couldn't. The protagonist coldly replied, "Because you're weak." Shocked by the familiar voice, Tadano looked up just in time to see a massive blast of fire vaporize the monster, leaving nothing but its legs. Minato stood there, expressionless, having defeated it instantly. After saving the bullies, Minato turned to leave. Furious that he needed saving again, Tadano chased and shouted for him to stop. Tadano caught up and asked why Minato helped them instead of hating them. Minato glanced back coldly, saying he did it simply because he could. Trembling, with his head low, Tadano choked out, "Is that really the only reason?" Suddenly, the bully snapped and told the hero to stop acting. The redhead cursed Minato, calling him weak at magic. He then asked when Minato got so strong. Minato looked away and said, "Kusanagi Minato died in a crash. I'm someone else now." Tadano shouted that if death made you stronger, he should be the one in charge, not Minato. The hero stepped forward and asked if the guy really thought he was strong. He told him his ego was lying to him. His stare made it clear that Todano wasn't going to fight. The hero added that ego makes you think you're strong, and his intense glare proved Tadano was too scared to fight. He walked right past the redhead, ignoring him completely. The bully collapsed, shaking. He finally admitted he knew his strength hadn't grown since middle school. Tadano realized he only bullied others to hide his own failures. He couldn't accept that the once weak Minato was now the one saving him. His friends walked up, terrified. They realized they were alive because of the boy they used to bully. They stood behind Tadano, who couldn't get up. Tears streamed down his face. Meanwhile, the hero kept saving people, destroying every monster in his path. Suddenly, a dark guardian burst into Minato's classroom. The monster barged in, but the hero was ready. He pointed his hand, charging a magic blast. He fired, but the creature dodged it. The magic seal on his hand flared and activated its power. Suddenly, a massive blast of fire swallowed the monster. Later, Minato put his hands in his pockets and checked the damage. He saw only guards on the street, so the boss was close. He told the two students to stay calm and said they were safe. Meanwhile, Ryujan grit his teeth and cursed the protagonist. He fought while grumbling. When monsters attacked the girls, he rushed to stop them. He shouted that he'd protect everyone and told them to follow him. The students felt relieved and thanked him. Moving ahead, Ryujan worried there were too many monsters to handle. "Need help?" the protagonist asked, startling Ryujan. "Don't scare me like that!" Ryujan snapped. Ignoring him, the Emps looked around. "We aren't leaving until we defeat every invader." Ryujan ran over. "You can't fight that many enemies alone. We need another way." In that instant, a single powerful magic attack hit all the monsters. When it ended, only Minato stood there. The rescued students, including Ryujan, stood frozen in shock. "Hurry," the protagonist said. Ryujan snapped out of it, gathered everyone, and told them to run. The students quickly fled to find shelter. As they escaped, some creatures tried to attack, but he easily took them down. Ryujan watched silently, amazed by his companion's incredible strength. Minutes later, the protagonist was left alone, wondering if he should scout the building. Meanwhile, the teacher and the other students held the school's defenses. Just then, Mizua lost her strength and almost collapsed. Ruka caught her so she wouldn't get hurt. Her older sister said to fall back if she was at her limit so she wouldn't get in the way. Hearing that, Mizuha steadied herself and said she could still fight. She just watched, trusting her sister. Then Mizuha got back into position and used her magic. Ryujan arrived with the saved students. The teacher welcomed the good news. Ryujan told everyone to get inside, as Ruka realized they were all at their limit. Mizuha asked where the protagonist was. Ryujan calmly replied that Mito was fine and still had plenty of energy. She felt deeply relieved. Ryujan excitedly said the protagonist was amazing and they might survive the disaster. Mizuha agreed and got ready to fight on. Suddenly, the ground started shaking, shocking everyone. The worried teacher ordered everyone to take cover. Right after, a huge number of new enemies appeared. Ryujan saw the size of the threat and yelled for everyone to run. The students panicked and ran from the beast. Ruka, her sister, and Ryujan fled, trying to get away fast. Suddenly, something felt wrong to Mizuha. Just before the beast could hit her, someone took it down. The police had arrived, and Inspector Shido announced the hunt was on. The officers moved quickly and started attacking together. The students felt huge relief that they had finally made it. Shido told the students they were safe and to leave. Mizuha insisted on fighting, telling him they were mages. Shido agreed, telling them to attack from the back. The students agreed to help, while Karin treated the injured inside. The hero felt relieved watching the police cars pull up. He could let the police handle it calmly, since they'd get there before the military. Thinking it over, he realized that in this unstable world, things like this could happen. He used magic to speed up and kept running, since more students still needed saving. The reporter said the police had arrived, but warned that more monsters kept appearing. She soon added that everyone was waiting for the magical elites to step in. Kids who thought it was a game now watched for help, while seniors waited for the help their taxes paid for. The reporter again urged the magical elites to get there as fast as they could. Fukajin watched from his window and ordered privacy, telling his worried servant that police could handle a minor mess without them. The man left, and the butler asked where he would be sleeping. Jin ignored him and walked out, but the butler bowed and wished him a good night. Back in the fight, Yahello was at his limit but held his ground. He knew things were getting worse fast. He asked a teammate if they could clear the monster entry point. They replied it was impossible due to the numbers. Yahello realized the monsters were appearing too fast for any evacuation plan to work. The inspector knew the defense forces only provided backup. The magical elites were their only hope, but they were nowhere to be seen. Frustrated and angry, Yahello shouted upset that no one was coming to help them. Still, the academy students kept fighting off the monsters. Surrounded, he realized theory wasn't enough and wondered if they would survive the boss. The hordes rushed forward, determined to destroy everything. Suddenly, a magical beam shot from the sky. Heavy pressure filled the air, signaling the demon boss. Yahello broke into a cold sweat from pure fear. The inspector wondered if that creature really was the boss. Ruka felt the heavy mood and knew only the magical elites could fight this. Mizuhi shook, knowing they needed high-level spells no one could cast. The leader charged right in and fired several spells straight at the group. Mizuhi noticed the danger too late and froze. At the last second, Ruka jumped in front of her sister, trying to block it with water magic. It weakened the blow, but it wasn't enough. Without thinking twice, she shielded her sister with her own body. The blast hit Ruka, and she screamed as she collapsed. Mizuhi looked up and panicked. Her sister badly hurt. Ruka forced herself to speak, telling her sister to run. Mizuhi dropped to her knees as the monsters closed in, and the other students panicked and ran. She held her sister, crying for help. Wounded officers kept fighting Ryujin. Back down. Then the leader raised his hand and cast a level 5 spell. Everyone knew they were going to die. Teary-eyed, Mizuhi hugged her sister and called for the hero. The leader's attack grew, making the air hard to breathe. The girl screamed for her mentor, the cruel leader just laughed. A voice stopped the leader. A stronger spell blocked his move. The hero appeared and apologized for being late. He told the leader he was late. Mizu cried by her sister. Minato checked Ruka. She just fainted. She still looked bad, seeing the hurt students. The hero got angry. He faced the leader and told Mizuhi he would win. Hope returned to her. Eyes healing magic cleared. Her sister's wounds healed. She looked around. Students Karen, stunned by the magic, saw tired Shido on the ground. He was fading. Karen screamed. The inspector stood up confused. Even so, he looked at her, found his last bit of strength, and said they had to protect the people. Karen grabbed the inspector and called it reckless, but Shido argued that giving up meant death. The sergeant sobbed, saying it was hopeless because the police were defeated, as seen by the bodies nearby. Shido panicked when Karen confirmed they were surrounded and no help was coming. Meanwhile, the reporter yelled that the police were wiped out and the end had come. The bullies watched in terror as the reporter screamed that the nobles were useless and they would all die. Even the retirees watching were scared when the reporter said only Minato was left to fight. The officers saw him, and Karen cried out in shock as she watched the student walk toward the monsters, while Shido yelled at him to run. Still, Minato ignored the warnings and walked toward his enemy without stopping. Fed up, the main character said the demon leader had crossed the line. The monster let out a heavy aura and kept repeating that he was going to kill. Hearing that terrifying voice, the students froze in fear. The remaining police officers looked down, unable to move. Suddenly, a huge explosion hit the boss. The hero attacked and told him to shut up. As the light faded, the monster roared and unleashed more power. Magic seals trapped the beasts, and dark energy shot out everywhere. The hero stayed calm to keep the others from panicking. Suddenly, a wave of energy rushed at him. Even Inspector Shido thought he was hit, but magic shields formed around the students and blocked it. The hero had used his own power to protect everyone. Meanwhile, non-stop attacks slammed into the monster, making it scream. Shido was stunned, wondering who the student really was. While the shocked reporter told them to get closer, a water magic blast broke the camera. The attack came from Mizushi, who realized her mentor had always hidden his true power. Minato didn't slow down, continuously attacking the enemy. Seeing that, the three students cheered, confident they would be saved. Suddenly, three magical beasts appeared in front of them, causing panic. Before they could react, precise magic attacks took the creatures out. It was Inspector Shidao and Sergeant Karen, who tiredly said they were ready to help. The protagonist smiled faintly, thinking the modern police were doing their job well. Then he focused all his attention back on attacking the demonic boss. Suddenly, the monster roared as its energy surged. Next, magic seals appeared, signaling a worse attack. Shido shouted, knowing that high-level nobility magic was impossible to block. The boss immediately used Dragon Flame. The students panicked. The news crew hid in fear. Terrified, Karen shielded a girl while Shido spread his arms to protect everyone, knowing it was hopeless. The magic was too strong. The students fell back. Crying, hugging a girl, Karen prayed for their survival. Shido watched, thinking the hero had no clear way to escape. Only Mizuha stood firm, watching her mentor with total faith that he would win. Minato glared at the demon, realizing its size made it slow and its magic reckless. He knew basic magic wasn't enough but wanted to stay hidden. Suddenly, power surged as 4 magic seals appeared. He used magical synthesis to cast Serp Storm. Mizuha watched in awe, her faith in him justified. The energy instantly formed a creature made of water. Shido stared in shock as the dragon flame became a beast of fire. The two forces crashed head-on. Water Serpent lunged and grabbed opponent's neck. The boss kept chanting, "Kill," to power up his attack, but Minato just sighed. In one move, the Water Serpent destroyed the Fire one and swallowed the demon whole. And just like that, it was over. Minato calmly figured the enemy had lost control from the start. Looking at the remains, Minato thought the fight would have lasted longer. But the boss was weaker than he looked. Soon, everything returned to normal, and the threat disappeared. Minato felt the disaster was over and he could finally relax. Meanwhile, the shocked students wondered if they were truly safe. But soon, everyone got up to celebrate. Even the reporter and her assistant hugged, finally feeling safe. Karen comforted a student, saying everything was fine, and the disaster was over. That's impossible. How could a regular student stop this alone when even top noble mages couldn't beat the demon boss? Are you okay? Don't worry, everything has been taken care of now. I always believed in you. Thank you so much. Welcome back, Yuki. Wait, what's happening? Hey, back off. Great, I stood out again just like in my past life. I hope things don't get annoying from now on. You look really annoyed with all this attention. Look at the news, Kusanagi. They are calling you a savior, which makes total sense. Wow, he's in Class S now. What's your secret? Are you from a noble family? Look, I'm glad you're defending me, but I need to leave. Are you having trouble? I just want to avoid getting teased. That's normal. You're the powerful savior who protected the whole school. Besides, you're in Class S now too. She nods. Yeah, it's thanks to my efforts during the disaster. Are you happy about it? He asks. Yes, Mizuha says, because someone special is in that class too. Kusanagi asks if Ruka is doing better. Nods, we talk a lot more now. And Yuka are glad. She sincerely thanks him. Besides, Kusanagi gently pats her head, blushes. What was that for? The protagonist explains, I don't want you thanking me all the time. Mizuha just smiles. At a meeting, ends a video call with other countries. They know getting help next time will be hard since everyone is busy with their own plans. They discuss the student who beat the demon boss. Noting how strange it is that even the police lost, they decide it was a misunderstanding. Hope other nations doubt it too, and recall the noble mages to prepare. On the school rooftop, the pairs of friends meet up. The four share a brief silence. Then, Ruka speaks up, determined to ask Kusanagi to take her as a disciple. After a quiet moment, Ruka brings up the disaster. She shocked Kusanagi, defeated the demon captain with high-level magic. Even so, she trusts Yucha, because her sister never lies. She says her sister was always a good, obedient child. Someone so talented and strong shouldn't end up wasted as a weak mage. He tells her to stand up, promising she will get much stronger. Ruka feels proud seeing how much her sister has grown, noting Kasanagi's strength beats most students and maybe even her father's. With that in mind, she asks her friend for a favor. She's on track to be a top-class mage but needs help grow stronger. She apologizes for insulting and underestimating him. It's a selfish request, but she's swallowing her pride. Luckily, he is easygoing and agrees to take her on as his disciple. She is surprised since she treated him poorly before, but he has already forgiven her and accepted her apology completely. Her big tough friend agrees as well and is happy to help teach her. This surprises the girl, making her realize how truly kind-hearted he is. Watching them talk, she decides Hero is a complete mystery. That afternoon, Shido and Sonata from the Beast Unit meet at police headquarters. They thank him deeply because the civilians would have died without his help. But the boy says they've thanked him enough and asks what they want. The disaster investigation is over, but something still bothers the detectives. The blonde guy asks if the hero got his powers after a car accident. Some say he became a totally different person after that bad accident. They say his personality changed and his magic became strong enough to beat a demon captain. That annoys the girl, who wants to know where this talk is going. The man asks a different way, wondering if the MC knows a guy called the Black Mage. This cloaked mage fought monsters and saved people late at night. When asked how that connects to their friend, they reply that both are the same size and age. Their powers are huge, and nobody that age should have that much magic. Plus, his nightly actions match the timeline. They remind him it's illegal to use magic in the city without a permit. If it's a student, the school will act. But since this, the police must step ill expulsion. Isn't enough, but a confession might lower his sentence. The detective lays his cards on the table, asks if the MC is the black mage. Without stuttering or showing fear, he denies being the person they are looking for. With that simple answer, the blonde guy believes him and knows they aren't the same person. Then they thank him for the meeting and start to leave. Walking out, he realizes the MC isn't a normal student and definitely hides something. His detective friend is sure Kusanagi is the mage because they are so alike. Still, she can't expose his secret because he's a good guy. The blonde guy wants to uncover his secret, but the girl wants to hide it. Then the teacher introduces the new students joining her S-class today. The class wants to know more about the boy who beat the demon villain. Meanwhile, the girls also want to know more about the blue-haired girl. Losing patience, the teacher tells everyone to sit down so class can start. This was exhausting for the main character, who didn't want to stand out. Now a pretty red-haired girl wants the main character's attention. Check 21. Once again, the hero ends up on the rooftop to talk with someone in private. The girl heads out to train, alone, but finds Minato there too. Looking closer, she sees he's with a pretty girl. She asks him in a sweet way if he remembers her. He remembers saving her life during the past Calamity incident. He recalls saving her from monsters in class with magic. Kusanagi realizes why she thanked him twice. Blushing, she tells him he's cool. She can't hear them well and wonders what they're saying. Surprisingly, the redhead says she likes him and wants a date. That shocks them both, as he didn't expect a confession. She promises she'll do her best for him. She begs him to date. Coldly, thanks her but rejects her, completely ruining the mood. He explains he has no time to date anyone because he has things to do first. She thanks him for his honesty and says she can give up now. Still, she hides her tears as she walks away. Then Uka gets caught hiding. Her bad mana control leaked across the roof, making her easy to spot. She says she didn't mean to eavesdrop. She asks why he rejected such a pretty girl. He reveals he doesn't plan to date anyone, which leaves her confused. Though they are in the same grade, he feels like their ages are completely different. Hearing that makes his friend feel relieved, though she doesn't know why. Walking through the halls and stairs, she keeps thinking about how he doesn't want to date. The MC tells her to focus more on her mana training and practice harder. She decides to work as hard as she can so he will finally notice her. Even though the crisis is over, the night is still full of monsters. A girl screams for help as she runs from an evil wizard. Just then, the masked man appears out of nowhere to save the day again. Moving quickly, he grabs the man's arm and punches him in the stomach. Then he uses a yellow spell that sends the man flying far away. The thug was a terrible fighter. The girl thanks him, clearly knowing the black mage's reputation. Impatient, the hero vanishes into thin air. As he escapes, he wonders why his secret identity is becoming so famous. At school, everyone is gossiping about how the amateur mage only comes out at night. That's because he has become a trending topic online lately. Completely clueless, he thinks the internet is just some kind of fishing net. It's odd for someone that age to be so bad with phones. She says the internet has everything and news travels fast. Then his classmates show him how to use his phone. He's thrilled when he finally gets the app open. He thinks the internet is easy now. Ruka asks when their training will start. The boy says they can start after class, since he learned how to use his phone. His friend has a bad feeling. A while later, Big Guy is already down after a short workout. They haven't even warmed up, yet they have to train like their lives depend on it. Still, he is stubborn and keeps fighting. That is the spirit he wants, so he tells them to attack. They charge together using the scene shifts to Tokyo Tower. Men in suits watch something from far away with binoculars. One of them shakes and asks what is happening. They see a bunch of monsters approaching in the distance. Trimmy 22 after. Training, the trio looks completely exhausted. Even so, it was a surprise move and they strike back with all their strength. That plan is useless since the hero is too strong and counters all of them. Taking advantage of that opening, the girl sneaks up to attack him from behind. With his high speed, the hero easily dodges the strike, surprising her. On top of that, he shoots magic at her forehead to end the fight again. With everyone defeated, it's time to take a break. The hero looks like he thinks he fooled everyone about his identity, but the girl thinks there's a reason he keeps secrets and decides not to dig any deeper. He also thinks the three of them are way too easy to fool. Walking home, the friends say the training was great and the big guy is tough, but he's hungry and needs to cook. MC is surprised the big guy can cook well. Back at his place, the boy gets surrounded by kids wanting to play. The cook brings out plates and apologizes for the kids, but the hero shoos them away using his levitation magic. Because of that, his friend complains about him using magic in the house. It's a surprise that such a big guy is so great with kids. Thinking of the crying kids in the ruins, he says children are precious. Then the hero reads stories to the babies as they play and listen. Before eating the feast, everyone gives thanks for the meal. He has no father and his mom works late, so he does the housework. His friend is busy with chores and work, but he doesn't mind. He says hardship makes us stronger. They sleep together that night. Kusanagi doesn't mind it. Chart 23. Suddenly, the blonde guy wants Kusanagi to join them. He can help the police if he wants. Hates the spotlight, but he has to help. Plus, he'll get paid well and they'll inform the academy. His friends are also ready to help out whenever they can. Sadly, these kids can't help right now. Even if they are the top students, a real battle is completely different. They can only join the team if their powers are close to the main character's level. As he leaves with the main character, he casually tells his friends to go back to school. The hero tells them to catch up to him, which highly motivates them. At police headquarters, hundreds of monsters are approaching Tokyo Tower. They need to stop them before civilians get hurt, so they called the student who helped last time. When Kusanagi stands up, the people sitting behind him start whispering. The blonde guy gets everyone's attention by explaining that Minato stopped the disaster at school. Almost no one matches his strength, so his help is absolutely necessary. Two jealous detectives get angry at the kid's attitude, but their mission remains the same: wipe out the enemy. Once the meeting ends, everyone returns to their posts. The man apologizes to the hero, who lets it go. Sonata gets chewed out because she was too scared to act. Luckily, the boy doesn't care and tells them not to worry. The detective who likes him thinks he's a great guy. Total powers is about 80 mid-rank mages. They use level 2 magic and high ranks use level 3. Surprisingly, the hero uses level 4 magic and is the strongest in the police. The plan is to use just one battle mage, which isn't even a real strategy. Demonic soldiers and magic beasts are easy, but higher plane beings are smart and need a real strategy. From what the hero saw, it looks like they don't have any equipment. They usually fight in light clothes, but he explains they used to have anti-beast gear. Now that gear is rare, though it used to be common. Even knowing magic has declined. He wants to know what happened over the last 50 years. Finally, the police arrive at Tokyo Tower. Monsters are everywhere. Even without a calamity, the hero watches from afar, wondering what's happening. The detectives see way more monsters than were reported. There is a demon captain, and they need help. But everyone is busy fighting other beasts. They must fight them alone. Maybe Kusanagi can take them out with his power. The detectives are annoyed, thinking he's just showing off. He says something feels wrong. He looks at the sky over Tokyo Tower and sees a red glow. A new disaster is announced. Radios broadcast the update everywhere. Disasters are hitting the country. People run in panic as the police try to save them. They also have to handle this disaster at the city. The problem is that no one else can help them. Another disaster is striking and everyone wants answers. Even if it's natural, beasts seem to be causing it. Maybe they figured out how to trigger them. The detectives are terrified, thinking they can't handle this without backup and need to regroup. The problem is the beasts won't stop attacking. They're all heading toward the city at full speed. At this rate, civilians will get hurt. Our only choice might be to fight back. Fear spreads among the cops, who feel like their department failed them. Even so, the hero is fired up and jumps right in, confident he can handle it. He lands right in the middle of the monsters rushing toward him. Honestly, the entire area is packed with beasts looking for a fight. From afar, the detectives think the kid is going to die and needs to run. Then he activates a spell called Wind Cutter. The destruction shocks the cops, but the blonde, in seconds, he easily wiped out all the monsters around him. Still, danger isn't over, and more demons keep coming. The battle mages start using their powers from afar. Luckily, the hero creates a magic shield to protect himself. Making that barrier was a great choice, and it should block everything. He counters by destroying all his enemies with a quick flash of magic. It's amazing to see him use different types of magic as expected from someone so strong. The cops are ordered to follow and support him. Though scared, the men refuse to run and choose to push forward. The squad begins attacking non-stop, giving this battle everything they've got. This surprises the hero, who sees they are stronger than they look. Then the demon captain appears, looking highly intimidating. Only a legendary mage can beat this creature, and no one there is on its level. A blue glow surrounds the area, closing in on the cops. The kid plans to take out the captain and leave the soldiers to his friends. The team is shocked by their co-workers' powerful magic. They must fight until the boss appears. Disasters have ruined the world for 60 years. If it happens again, it will spread globally. Luckily, he's here to save humanity. A monster corners the detective and attacks quickly. Luckily, the hero saved the day, again with a red spell. This happened before, and it feels exactly the same. She thanks Kusanagi for helping, and he asks if she's okay. The boy worries that it's happening again, and his secret will be exposed. The girl wonders how he got so strong. She worries her friend will hate her, for sudden explosion starter monsters close in. But the hero destroys them with magic. It's too dangerous here, she says sorry again. She can't fight and must stay with the hero. This kid acts like a grown-up, not a student. Nearby, the detectives use magic when surprised. They won't stop shaking for some reason. Then a demon captain appears with purple magic. It looks even stronger than the others. The men doubt even strong mages can win, but the hero stays calm and isn't scared. They say the kid can't win, no matter how strong, but he's sure he can do it. Suddenly, the cop sees the shaking has stopped. The girl is cheering for Kusanagi to win the fight. If he beats this captain, he might be as strong as a noble mage. The blonde guy wants to see the hero's real power. Must fight until the end. The rivals stare each other down before the duel starts. The captain attacks with fire. The hero doesn't flinch as the blast misses this level 1 monster. Crazy strong, surprised he survived. They wonder who he is, he says. He is just a normal student. He glows with a blue aura. Demon only wants to beat him. They are shocked. This level 6 beast should be impossible to beat. The kid is stuck, trying to keep his friends safe from the fight. The beasts cast a purple spell in sync. Scared, the girl tells Kusanagi to run, stands his ground, uses water to douse the fire. A shield protects him as the beams hit. The boss is annoyed when hero asks if that is all. Everyone wonders who he is and how he did that. Only a noble mage can cast a level 6 spell. It is advanced remote magic. He even used 2 types at once. Usually, you can only use 1 at a time and have to wait. Using 1 magic type is powerful, but using 2 means this kid could beat a noble mage. The detective's gut was right. This is the person he's been looking for. The great and powerful Ikami Minato. As the monster approaches, the hero decides it's too crowded and moves the fight. Using his level 1 skill, he easily throws the captain far away. The battle moves into the sky, out of everyone's reach. He does this so he can fight alone without any outside help. Now that he's away from the crowd, glad he doesn't have to hold back. He easily dodges the attacks from the giant beast. A heavy blow sends him flying, but he casts a spell to stay airborne. The monster fires a massive purple fireball, blasting him to the ground. The boss watches him fall, thinking it's over, but the hero just stands up and brushes off the dirt. He isn't even close to defeated. Stunned, the beast wonders how he survived a blow that should have killed him. Back in the fight, the hero moves in for hand-to-hand combat, winding up a massive punch. He is sure his enemy won't be able to hit him back. His punch lands, sending the demon captain flying back dozens of meters. Shaken, the beast can't believe a human is that strong and demands to know who he is. The kid gets into a stance, saying he has more tricks than just magic. It's time to show off his own technique. Shock 26. The hero stands on the field, smiling as colorful auras surround him. Even his enemy is amazed, power which feels calm and godlike. High above, the hero focuses on using his power to the fullest. Still, the demon says humans can't hurt them. He wants to see if that's true, so he moves toward the giant beast. Using all his magic, he lands a clean hit right on the enemy's chest. The boy fights well, landing solid blows on the captain. The blonde guy is impressed. He didn't know the kid could fight hand-to-hand, since human punches usually do nothing to these beasts. Badly hurt, the enemy can't understand how the attacks worked so well. Regular weapons are useless against beasts. But everything changes when you use a lot of magic. Attacking while covered in aura combines martial arts with magical power. This style is called magical martial arts. The captain still can't believe a mere human is beating him. Furious, he charges in, yelling that he won't accept this. That was the chance he needed to unleash an attack so strong it blew a hole through the beast's body. The other beasts watch as their captain falls dead to the ground. Thanks to his help, the disaster finally stops and the detectives feel proud. There is still a problem. They need to take out the remaining enemies on the battlefield. Right then, the boy figures the police can handle the rest. Funny thing is, he hadn't used that fighting style in years and was pretty rusty. When he lands, he sees the whole detective team standing right in front of him. They thank him for a great job and for defeating the boss behind the disaster. With that, they all salute Mr. Kusanagi together. Since then, these events spread worldwide. But the police and mages stopped the worst. Online, people blasted the government and police for letting everyone down. As public fear grew, someone brought up the black mage. People are glad a hooded guy is out there, saving them and beating the monsters. In class, everyone wonders how the last disaster was stopped and what powers were used. The boy hates all the talk. He prefers to stay quiet. The teacher mentions the Tokyo Tower event and notes a student staring at Kusanagi. Suddenly, the police walk into the classroom. The detective says she has the principal's permission to be there. They need his help again, which annoys him, since it makes the police look weak. Plus, it's awkward with everyone in the room watching him. He learns he'll be rewarded. Meanwhile, monsters and criminal mages are causing chaos everywhere. The police are short-staffed and need his help because he is the strongest. Next time, he wants a phone call so he doesn't have to deal with this in class. The woman asks him to defeat the beasts appearing nearby. They plan to drive, but it's too late. The hero uses magic to speed ahead. The city is completely ruined. Two kids are alone. Debris, the brother vows to protect them, but a monster appears. He decides they must run, but they trip on some rocks and fall. The beast seizes the chance to attack. Luckily, the hero arrives just in time to save them. He approaches the boys and says, "You both did great." Then he hands back the boy's lost doll. He runs to the next fight, saying the toy will keep them safe. Watching him leave with his powers, the younger kid feels inspired. This city battle is way messier than the one at the academy. Unlike Shibuya, there are tons of obstacles and people to save here. Civilians are everywhere, so I can't use magic bullets. I can spot beast magic, but not people without it. We have to patrol carefully. The detective targets the beasts while firefighters save people. Then he spots Kusanagi. He was there during the last disaster. The hero arrives as backup and asks for a status report. They still need to save half the civilians, but they can't reach the other side. Hearing that, the kid decides to check the restricted side of the city. The bad news is there are reports of illegal mages over there. No need to worry about him. They know what he can do. Another officer wonders who this kid is that wiped out all the beasts so fast. Maybe he joined the fight to save everyone from this chaos. Level 6 powers are destroying the monsters. Demonic captains appearing outside a calamity was impossible 50 years ago. The beasts are growing in number and getting much stronger. They're getting so strong that even the hero might not be able to handle it. If they don't prepare now, things will spiral out of control. He has many plans but isn't sure which to choose. While patrolling and saving people, his detective friend approaches. The detectives thank Kusanagi for minimizing the damage, but he credits the police and firefighters, saying he just supported them. This makes the officer like the boy even more and think he's amazing. They apologize for the last calamity and admit they acted out of anger toward him. Calming things down, he says it's normal for a student to be proud and not to waste time on it. His maturity impresses the officers, who thank him again. The detective thanks him and apologizes for using a student. They need a plan to fight the beast as it grows stronger. Suddenly, the two brothers appear, grabbing everyone's attention. They thank him for his help, and he's glad they're safe. The younger boy asks if Kusanagi is the great mage, and his brother apologizes for the question. Seeing the doll, the MC says yes, that's him, making the kid even more excited. He says he knew it. The MC wonders why anyone would make dolls of him, thinking nobody would buy them. His friend explains that these dolls bring comfort to kids who need it. The nerd says these will be historic for the next 100 years and asks to make more. Now the MC gets what his friend meant, but knows dolls can't actually save anyone. A real hero is what people need most right now. The story now shifts to the capital. Everyone is talking about the Black Mage. Koyakuto leads the Black Rebellion Guild. A rogue mage outside his guild must be against him. He threatens his henchmen, asking, "Am I right?" Find out who that hooded guy really is. He doesn't even care if they use force to do it. The manager arrives and asks, can we kill him if he refuses? They are even worse and want to torture him before taking him down. That gets the manager even more excited for the job. Chapter 28. The girl wants to know how strong Kusanagi is. Her friend wants to know too, guessing how high the numbers go. Turns out his power level is 9.9 million. The trio is shocked, thinking that much power is impossible. Everyone knows the great mage Minato only has 1 million power, with the absolute limit. This makes the hero wonder how strong he really is, so he checks online to find out. He fumbles with his phone, gets confused by how complicated it is, and gives up. Just then his phone rings. The caller apologizes for bothering him and asks if he's free. She wants to talk to his friends too, so she asks him to use speakerphone. He has no idea how to do it, so he asks his friend for help. With monsters on the rise, the police are forming a special magic team. They want Kusanagi to lead it. It's a dream job for any mage, and even Minato wouldn't say no. But to everyone's surprise, he turns down the offer. Before moving on, Shido wants to explain his thoughts. He says the police can't handle all these problems or beat the monsters alone. The hero thinks it's because magic levels are low right now. Noble mage leaders are away, leaving only Fuka in charge. He realizes he has never met his friend's parents. He also wants the 3 academy friends in the special unit. He'll handle the politics so the boy can lead the mages. He begs him to take the job as he's their only hope. The hero agrees, which excites the blonde guy, who wasn't sure. His friends join too. He's worried, but plans to train them well. The news says people are upset with the noble sage families. They ditched their school duties after the disaster and are too slow to kill the monsters. The butler enters a fancy room with papers from the police. He calls the magic unit useless, figures it might stop people from complaining. He smugly tells the butler to fetch his idiot son. The story shifts to the meeting about forming the new team. They say applicants were lacking, but success will bring more. That was expected since a student-led team is asking for trouble. The detective hands something to the main character. It is a temporary mage badge for their clothes. It is for identification, since none of them are official mages yet. That ends their student treatment, and everything is left to the captain. The boy thinks about how long it has been since he last led anyone. He steps forward and introduces himself to them. He says he'll be their captain and wants to make a promise. He promises to make them all stronger than even the noble mages. This shocks everyone since noble mages are insanely powerful. Since nobody believes him, he decides to prove it. He asks if there is a power measuring device at the station. Ruka and Ryujai test, first in the room, firing their power into the machine. Their magic power used to be 10,000 and 8,000, but it must be higher now. She stares in shock as the screen hits 30,000. Next, the big guy hits 28,000. A 20,000 jump. The shocked police realize this is high-level mage power. Don't be shocked yet, the MC says, telling his friend to test her power next. Chapter 29. She gets nervous, fearing the power gap between her and her sister is too wide. She worked hard, but she's still just normal and terrified of the results. Still, she decides she won't run away anymore. No matter what, she releases all her power, refusing to lie to herself ever again. The impressed detectives wait eagerly to see the results. It reads an incredible 26,000. Normal stats say she should only be at 2,000. The MC says anyone can raise their magic, but she argues you need talent. He disagrees, saying hard work is everything, then pats her head proud of her. Her sister is happy and they both get praised. Typical for a Mizua, but he praises her anyway for a job well done. He tells his brave friend he's always known he was special. His friend gets annoyed and says she isn't a child. They're relieved she's not mad. Nobody had ever patted her head before. Someone arrives to welcome them, saying they've been searching for a while. The detective didn't expect him today, but suddenly changed his mind. It's Mr. Shula, a mage who ignored the school's crisis and questions why students leave Japan. The cop explains the student stopped the disaster and was made captain. The noble can't believe a commoner stopped such a disaster. He steps on the MC's foot and asks how a kid got a higher rank than him. His friends get angry and start cursing at him. The noble says commoners easily get upset, then looks at the 2 Mizua daughters. He says the 2 of them don't look like trash like the others. With a mean grin, he says he'll be the unit captain, even though the choice was already made. He suggests that whoever beats the Calamity boss gets to be captain. Ignoring everyone, he says it's settled and walks away. The hero stays calm, knowing how loudmouths are. The trio vows to stop Chubby. The MC wonders why the 3 of them are angrier about this than he is. They're at the police training area. The MC is stuck again and wants to gauge their magical power. First, he wants to explain why magic matters to everyone. Mon is the energy used for magic, but it has other uses too. Next, he asks the big guy to attack with all his strength. He punches and says, "Don't complain later." The punch hits his face but is blocked by a magic barrier. With enough mana, you use it naturally. If your capacity is huge, you can do it all the time. As his friend punches, he calls this automatic magic. Growing your power capacity is vital for mages, and everyone must remember that. Besides training, they need good equipment and anti-monster gear. Shadow's look says it's hard to get. He asks them to wait a bit longer. He thinks those items don't exist anymore, so he decides to make something himself. He finds a cheap ring in, but it's not enough. He needs to go shopping. Just then, Ruka calls his phone. After a brief silence, she says only he can be captain and encourages him. Laughing, he asks her to go shopping together since he doesn't know where to find accessories. He explains he wants to go with just her rather than in a big group. That makes her a bit shy. Excited for the shopping trip, he asks what she thinks. She is 30. After a while, she says she doesn't mind going shopping with him. It might save him, so they agree to meet at the station tomorrow. That should cover rings for everyone, and he wonders if he should make anti-mon gear. He tries using his magic on the cheap rings, hoping it works. Dinner is ready, but when she goes to get her sister, she doesn't answer. She enters the room and sees sister picking out clothes this late. The room is a mess, so she mentions dinner. She wonders if sister is excited for a date. The next day, he waits at the station for his classmate. She must hide her magic from Manito and keep her distance. She feels guilty for spying on her friend and sister. Suddenly, Ruka appears looking stunning, and everyone stares. He arrives and asks if his friend has been waiting long. He says he just got there. Guys nearby get jealous, thinking he's her boyfriend. That annoys Uka, who doesn't think they are dating. He says he came to buy some rings. He needs a few as gifts. She freaks out, saying Japan bans polygamy. She suggests cheaper rings and knows a good place. They visit shops. Being watched makes it hard to find the right ring. Even when they find one, it feels weird when their faces get too close. The clerk offers a discount if it's for his girlfriend. The MC is embarrassed, but Ruka cuts him off and says she's not his girlfriend. The saleswoman is stunned and feels embarrassed. She awkwardly tells them to look around the store. The MC takes a break, exhausted from the crowded store. It's so hard to find what he needs that he considers changing his plans. Suddenly, the witch says she isn't good at showing affection. She adds that her friend understands her personality. She admits she struggles with her sister and has caused her pain. She tells him to shop with her sister, instead then says she wants to go home. But the boy interrupts, saying he knows that's not true. He says she researched the shops and worked hard to pick the best ones. He wants her to know how much she helped. Ruka feels touched and gets shy, unsure what to say. From afar, the spy sees a side of her sister she's never seen. Taking off her disguise, she wonders why she's there and heads home. They finally find some good rings. He buys 5 of each for the team. The witch knows their friends will love these thoughtful gifts. The team needs this gear and will be happy to get it. Ruka finally sees why this shopping trip mattered so much. He thanks his friend for her help. Like a gentleman, he plans to pay her back. Then he shows her a pretty ring. He romantically takes her hand and puts the ring on her finger. It's his first special creation, and he asks her to look after it. Blushing at the gift, she quickly leaves. It was time to explain how the anti-mon gear worked, but he decides to save it for later. Walking down the street, she looks at the ring on her finger. Holding it to her chest, she feels shy and flustered. Now it's time to hand out the equipment to each team member. The detectives are amazed by the magic and realize it's anti-mon equipment. They work once they're infused with magic. This item lets you use level 1 wind magic. This amazes the blonde guy, who can't figure out how he did it all alone. That's because blacksmiths who can craft things like this barely exist anymore. He says the boy never ceases to amaze him. Yuka also gets curious about her sister's ring. She notices her sister's new accessory and figures she got it on her date. She gets restless, wondering what happened after she left. The team needs faster transport. Regular police cars are too slow, as Shid remembers always arriving late to fights. With this gear, anyone can use wind magic to travel faster, but it's a basic spell and shouldn't be used to attack. Air magic involves flying and speeding up, starting with a jump. Her friend is the first to float easily and gets praised for it. It's easy for her since she has practiced control magic forever. She feels guilty for spying on her friends. Just then the Simsi asks if she knows Ikami Minato, and she says he's the person she admires most. He had a power level of 1,000,000 and used long-range spells before dying against the demon god. With few mages left, the Miso family helped rebuild everything from scratch, since records were gone. Despite the high death toll, some books must still be saved. The protagonist remembers hiding several in different places to prepare for the future. The problem is that modern magic is weak, shallow, and full of mistakes. He wonders if this is a coincidence or if someone is behind it all. Are you okay? I'm here for you even if I'm not perfect. Just knowing you care helps a lot. We can't drag her into black mage mess, she learns. I'm Minato, she'll faint. She wants to grow stronger to be useful. I'll keep giving it my all. A week passes as the captain trains everyone. The detective's a level 2 holy spell. Shido counters with level 3 lightning. The big guy casts a level 4 earth spell. raining rocks down. The sisters cast level 4 water spells. Everyone leveled up and Sonata can attack. Their incredible synergy blasts huge holes in the ground, thrilling the blue-haired girl. Good job, everyone. But don't get cocky just because you leveled up. Show me what you've got. Use a level 4 spell against me. Glowing with a blue aura, girl prepares a powerful attack. The protagonist counters with a level 1 wood spell. With his immense power, his level 1 spell easily cancels his friend's level 4. Levels increase your magic limit, but they don't make your spells stronger. Attributes matter. Water is weaker than earth. Focus on power, not just levels. Also, they can get stronger by combining powers with their teammates. This excites the group and motivates them to start training. Right? Then the chubby guy complains it's too complex for a commoner. With no calamity yet, he's bored from training or fighting monsters. He finds this too complicated and would rather have police handle it. The team dislikes the noble, and his arrival annoys everyone. Feeling powerful, he wishes the calamity would hurry up and arrive. His wish is granted, the sky turns red and the team faces the disaster. The first team to beat the boss leads the squadron. 32, they are focused and won't lose to that noble. Speeding off, the proud man waves goodbye the hero, tells the team to put on their headphones. This is our first real fight, stay sharp. The chubby guy floats through the city, ignoring the traffic. He jokes that everyone is too slow. Despite his weight, the team is fast. They used magic, making them hard to catch. The hero could win alone, but that defeats the squad's purpose. He floats, laughing at those who can't get close. Yuka's annoyed. She can't hear them, but knows it's just nonsense. The guy with slick hair arrives at the site to clear the monsters. They blast the enemies with green power to destroy everything. As civilians flee, he tells them to keep fighting the demons. Before the couple gets hit, the hero appears with a magic barrier. He asks his teammates what they think they're doing. His purple aura bursts out and heavy guy realizes he can't move. The police and his friends arrive to check if everyone is okay. Yuka gets furious and tells them not to drag civilians into this. The noble wonders why he can't move and blames the brat. He says people are blocking his magic and orders his goons to clear them while he fights the boss. Beating Fuka is easy, but fleeing looks bad. Maybe this is the exact chance the MC was waiting for. He protects the civilians while his friends fight the monsters. Even a powerful mage can't save everyone alone. He confidently claims he's the anti-mon squad captain. The blonde guy agrees asking was foolish. They can't depend on Manito. They need to kill the monsters themselves. The orders are to push ahead and win for the team. The squad uses their skills to charge forward. They strike the closing enemies with precision. The girl hits the nearby demons with her level 3 water power. She was scared before, but now she's taking down demons. She's proud of her growth. The area is filled with magic, and it looks like many civilians are trapped. The hero knows this rescue will be tough. Anyone else would, but he is a great mage. Across the battlefield, the thugs and the noble keep attacking. The three friends team up to take down the enemies. Suddenly, they feel magic and spot a demon ahead. The noble sees his chance to use level 4 magic on the boss. His troops warn that level 4 magic won't defeat a demon, but the proud noble thinks he can win just like the few before him. Sure of his rank, he casts his spell expecting to win. The demon fights back with a huge blast of fire. In seconds, the monster's power crushes the man's spell. Scared of losing, they turn and run away. Unfortunately, the man leaves the civilians behind because he doesn't care about them. Just then, the hero shows up and saves the day again. He uses powerful magic to block the enemy's attack. His friends raise their hands to help him with magic. On the ground, the fat guy is glad he didn't lose. Annoyed, Uka asks why he involved the citizens, but the noble blames them for being too slow to run from his magic. Furious, the girl slaps the fat guy hard across the face, Chuck 33. The slap is so strong it sends him flying. Right after, she yells at the fat guy, calling him a noble with no honor. On the ground, the noble can't believe they actually hit him. The friends leave the fat guy behind to focus on fighting the remaining enemies from far away. I'm glad we were recovered, but people still need help. The boss is loose and the beast is stalking the city. We can't win this. They're tough, but let the rivals tire them out while I land the... Great idea, let's go. The monster is closing in on the mages despite their strong magic. We must win. The big guy charges in first using all his power. The detectives and the girls fire their spells at the beast together. Their attacks hit and create a mist, but the monster is still standing and fighting. We need level 4 spells or way more magic to stop this thing. The beast fights back, it floats up, attacks. The friends barely dodge the deadly hits. Its power is stronger than before. twice as powerful as the girl's magic. The gap is too wide to win. Like this, over the headset, the hero hears his friends struggling and offers advice. He tells them they must work together and truly combine their powers. The key is between the two sisters. No time to explain. He says they must figure it out themselves. Just then, shots fly at the girl, but she dodges. They realize they must understand Kusanagi's words because they mean something. Just as her sister said, Minato always led the team, and that matters. Her plan is to take out the smaller enemies first while dodging the demon's magic. Their friends can attack from one side while they take the other, and she'll signal when magic comes. In front of them, the huge beast starts preparing several spells at once. Working together, the girl counts down to start the plan. She warns them the exact moment to dodge the impact. He realizes his friend is in charge and sees she's great at reading people. Even so, she doubts herself because her power still seems too low. Scared, she tries to remember what her friend just told her. She isn't sure this weird trick will work, but logic is already out the window. Risking everything, she asks everyone for power. The noble watches, completely confused. United as a team, everyone focuses on making the plan work. They have no other options, so they choose to believe in the girl. They'll have to push themselves. If this fails, they need a backup plan. The monster chains 5 powerful spells, blasting a massive wave of fire straight at them. The nobles think they're dead, but the team walks out of the flames alive as healing magic saves everyone. From afar, the hero sees it was a smart plan and praises the healing. Now it's the sisters' turn, and they get ready to cast their magic together. Alone they are weak, but together they can do it. They cast a level 6 spell called Water Torrent. They launch the attack. Powerful flood hits the monster. The detectives are shocked that they actually pulled off level 6 magic, but the monster is still alive. This is the chance the big guy needed for the final blow. Suddenly, his strength begins to fail him. The hero arrives just in time and casts a powerful spell. The team sees the beast stop moving. It's almost defeated. The sky clears as the enemy falls and the disaster is over. Exhausted, the girls collapse to the ground. Suddenly, their mana is completely gone and they can't move. Still, they're happy they saved the day together. Track 34. The hero praises everyone for stopping the incident. It was their first official mission, and they did great. Everyone is getting stronger, especially Yuka. Her orders were perfect, and combining spells was smart, she says. She just learned that technique. He wonders how she did it, credits his advice and her intuition. He thinks she is truly amazing. Still, she did great and fit that role perfectly. The teamwork between the sisters really helped the mission. The general turns on the TV and explains the team was made to fight the rising number of demons. A reporter asks if the leader is really the student who stopped the school crisis on TV. Shido introduces himself and confirms it's true. The press is shocked that a minor is in charge, but it's explained that his power surpasses even the nobles' magic. During the school crisis, no nobles came to help, leaving the police and citizens to struggle alone. But the hero showed up just in time and saved everyone's lives. That's why Shido believes he is a savior who will help them in this new era. From afar, the MC wishes they wouldn't make a big deal out of it. Such claims are risky and could cost him his job. But they point out that some clans were on other continents and completely ignored the crisis. To fix this, the general says noble families are important and this new team doesn't replace them. Suddenly a chubby guy arrives and orders everyone to kneel. He claims he'll be the new leader because a noble deserves the role, calling it rude to hold a meeting without him. Annoyed, the detective asks why he's there after losing the challenge. He pretends he forgot and claims he never made such a promise. He claims that as a noble, his word is law for commoners. A reporter interrupts to ask the new leader why they failed to protect the citizens and caused fights. Cornered, he lies and denies everything. Other reporters say they have proof in pictures and videos. The crowd gets angry because those families should protect them, not cause harm. Irritated, the noble tells them to hush, blaming people for being in his way. The detective tells everyone the guy is corrupt. He says they need real heroes who protect people instead of acting selfishly. He says nobles are useless if they don't protect people. Defeated, the three run off, swearing revenge on the detectives. Watching TV, he feels proud his friend stood up for him. The girls see videos of the disaster all over the internet. People are trashing the noble mages, especially the chubby one. The internet scares him. News travels way too fast. The girl panics when she sees their faces on camera. It's hard to hide who he is now. Things will get messy. A week later, he asks what the point of all this is. The crowded room freaks him out. More volunteers joined because of his outburst. He promises to reward him. He wanted to train young mages in secret, but his friend showed up to hype him up as a handsome star. This really bothers him because he hates drawing attention. At night, a man is tied to a chair in a creepy room. His captor wants to know everything the poor guy knows. The psycho demands info on the black mage. The victim says he only knows it's a young guy with crazy spells. Furious, the lunatic lunges with knives, screaming that he's lying. Crying, the man mentions that police are guarding the magic academy to find the mage. Rumor says the mage is a student, and that's it. Having no more info, the hostage begs to be let go. But the mad captor kills him in seconds. He gets furious when blood stains his expensive suit. He goes crazy, cleaning his clothes and swearing loudly. Excited to scare a student, he tells the mage to wait. He hoods up and reaches Shinjuku. Floating by, he spots people walking and filming. He sees a dead monster and signs the mage was there. He thought the hype died, but they still want him. Patrols are better at handling disasters now. Maybe they don't need the mage. Then, he sees thugs demanding 10 million yen. The man in the suit says he only borrowed 200,000, trying to block the hits. They claim the interest rate is just that high. The hero jumps in, shielding the man from the beating. The thieves are annoyed, calling him a wannabe hero. In a flash, they're beaten up and too weak to move. The police are too busy to deal with illegal mages. Rumors say crime gangs want the Black Mage. This makes him curious to learn more. The thugs only know the name Black Rebellion. MC promises to free them for info. Secret mage gang involved in crime like the mafia. With media and political ties, they have a kabukicho branch and the thugs hope to join it. After talking, the main character beats them up again anyway. Still, he remembers Sonata mentioning the rise in illegal mage activity. Minato Kusanagi Academy can handle monsters and disasters while the Black Mage takes care of the underworld. Now he decides it's time to destroy the Kabukicho branch. The branch is in an area full of nightclubs and drunk people. As he walks around, people offer him cheap rooms and red light deals. The busy neon streets overwhelm him. Magic is everywhere, and the group is hidden. He should arrest some people and ask questions. He should catch the people acting shady here. In an alley, men selling junk get annoyed. He beats them. Easily. One thug talks to get free. He knocks him out, hoping it's the truth. With the tip, he finds the Western bar. Tough guys wait inside for their friends. The bartender asks what he wants. She pays them for secret info on the rebels, but they say she's asking the wrong thing. They ask what happens to her next. They knew someone was snooping, but not someone this pretty. They use their powers to trap her, but they have orders to keep her alive. She moves quickly, dodging all their magical attacks. She tries to run, but a fire spell hits her and knocks her down. The thugs laugh, saying they don't care how tough she is. As she falls, she whispers an apology for failing her mission. Just as they approach her, the hero walks in and heads for the bar. He asks the bartender if any rebel members are around. A thug steps up and asks if he knows what he's getting into. He swings while talking trash, but gets dropped by one punch. The thug hits the wall to stand, then passes out. The others and the girl just stare. The woman is stunned. No one hits that hard. How did he do it? She saw no spells. Kusanagi is glad he found them. He calls them pathetic for jumping a woman. They think they can win. One thug tells them to all rush him at once. They shoot flames and he just tries to dodge. She doubts he can win against so many people inside. He can't use big spells here, so she yells for him to run. Just before they hit him, he snaps. He dodges every blow and closes in fast. He gets in close and throws punches. Within seconds, he knocks them all out. The woman is speechless. He moved too fast for her to follow. She wonders if it was real magic. A crying thug demands to know who he is. Kusanagi says he's the Black Mage who will end Black Rebellion. He knocks out the last thug and walks to the girl. She's still shocked by how easily he crushed everyone and wonders if he's a legendary mage. When Kusanagi gets closer, she realizes he looks like a high school student. She says his eyes stand out. Worried, he asks if she's hurt. She says she's completely fine. He walks to the bartender hiding behind the counter. Kusanagi demands info on Black Rebellion, but the terrified bartender refuses to talk, so he smashes the table with one punch to scare him. He asks again, warning it's his last chance. Terrified, the bartender decides to talk. He says Black Rebellion's main base is in Tokyo, with branches everywhere, even outside Kabukicho. He hears the Kabukicho branch boss is someone no one should cross. The leader is a powerful underworld mage. Some say he controls Japan from the shadows. Kusanagi asks where the branch is, but the bartender claims he doesn't know. Being small-timer, he's out of the loop. Frustrated, Kusanagi leaves to find more rogue mages. As he starts to leave, the woman stops to thank him for his help. She says she hates to think what might have happened without him. He brushes it off, saying he was just passing, but warns her that she took a huge risk. She calls him cold, and he agrees, noting he only acts that way toward adults. She asks if he's hunting the Black Rebellion and what his plan is for them. He looks cold and says he intends to destroy them. She sees he's serious, but doubts he can take down the whole gang alone. Since she can't handle it by herself, she makes him a proposal. She asks him to team up, explaining she's a detective with the intel he needs. She's shocked the Black Mage is so strong and thinks teaming up will help her reach her goal. Kusanagi offers his power for information. She agrees, calling it the perfect deal. She offers her hand for his help. He needs the information but wonders if he can trust her. He decides it's fine. If things go bad, he can just ditch her. He shakes her hand. She introduces herself as Leona and he simply says he's a black mage. She thinks that name is too hard and asks why he doesn't use a shorter one. He tells her to call him whatever she wants. She chooses Chrono and he agrees. He asks why the thugs chased her. She says she was looking for Black Rebellion's hideout. He calls her reckless and stupid. She notes they want the same thing, but he points out he can protect himself. She admits her weaknesses. She had no choice since nobody stands up to Black Rebellion. Rogue mages run Kabukicho while the police deal with the calamities. Kusanagi recalls Sonata saying that before. Now he sees how bad things really are for Leona. Trying to stay calm, Leona says rogue mages attacked her brother. After their parents died, she raised him alone. She worked hard to give him a good life. She knows he was lonely, but he never complained. Then one day burglars broke into their home. Her brother saw them, so they tried to kill him. Her face changes and he asks if he lived. She says he lived, but he's still unconscious. Kusanagi knows even magic cannot wake someone from a coma. Frustrated, she says doctors don't know when he'll wake up. He's only 9 and deserved a normal life. Leona says Black Rebellion lackeys did it. She caught them, but won't rest until the whole gang is gone. When he asks if it's just revenge, she says no. She wants to stop others from suffering like they did. She knows she's not strong enough, but believes he can fight Black Rebellion. Kusanagi thinks she's telling the truth. Still, he wonders if she only told him this to keep him from betraying her later. He calls her tough for coming this far, smiling because he likes desperate women. He warns her not to slow him down. She says she found many hideouts, telling him not to doubt her info network. With too many places tied to the Yakuza or Mafia, she had to be careful. He tells her to hand over the list. She asks what he plans to do. He says he's just going to pay them a visit. She warns him it's too risky and he could get killed. He tells her not to worry. He's the legendary Black Mage. She gives him the info but insists on coming along. He tries to stop her, but she refuses to back down. He asks what will happen to her brother if she dies. She says at least he would get the insurance money. He snaps that money doesn't matter. Family is everything. She says he doesn't know what it's like to be weak and crushed by trash. She cries, asking why her innocent brother had to suffer. Kusanagi moves, tells her to give him the hideout locations. Those thugs will pay. She stops crying and looks a bit better. She gives him the info, saying it's too far to walk. He grabs her. He tells her to hold on, and she blushes. At a hideout, a man checks the window. Another thug asks what is wrong. The window shatters as Kusanagi jumps in with Leona. He kicks the thug. Kusanagi asks if this is the Black Rebellion hideout. Leona tries to calm down, but she is still shaking. The thugs draw their weapons, ready to kill him. He stays calm, noting the Yakuza haven't changed since his last life. The boss holds a cigar and asks, "Who are you?" "I'm the Black Mage," he answers. Furious, the boss orders everyone to attack. He tells Leona stay close. A thug charges with a sword, but Kusanagi doesn't flinch. The thug freezes as his blade snaps in half, confused. More men shoot from behind. Kusanagi easily blocks them with a magic barrier. The thugs despair when they see their guns do nothing. They call him a monster, but he ignores them and walks toward the boss. He asks again if this man is the leader and if they are linked to the Black Rebellion. The boss shakes silently, then snaps. He insults the Black Mage, warning him not to look down on the Yakuza. The gang attacks again, firing and rushing in. Kusanagi stays calm, while Leona knows they would never cooperate. She can't believe he's unhurt. Sensing no real mages, he realizes they aren't tied to the rebellion and decides to wipe them out. The boss threatens him, but Kusanagi cuts him off with a kick that sends them flying, crushing the group in one strike. The Yakuza finally surrender. Leona is shocked by how fast it ended. Annoyed, they learned nothing. Kusanagi moves on to the next place. Leona now sees how strong the Black Mage is and believes he can destroy the rebellion. He picks her up in his arms. She tenses up, knowing they are leaving the same way. He jumps out the window with her. She screams for him to stop, but he refuses. They crash into the next hideout. Kusanagi defeats the gang instantly, and they beg for mercy. Outside, he calls the Yakuza idiots for always attacking them. Leona, but notes that thugs never listen anyway. She begs him to stop using windows. She is tired of all the flying. He ignores the rules. She calls that nonsense, so he tries knocking. A man asks who they are, and he asks about the rebellion. The man slams the door and tells them to leave. Annoyed, Kusanagi kicks the door open. The gang panics, wondering if one man is really raiding them. They ask for his clan, but he just keeps asking about the Black Rebellion. The bald guy loses his cool and throws the first punch. Kusanagi wanted peace, but he's forced to knock the guy out. Everyone else freezes. He ignores the thugs and looks for the boss. A man named Ushiro steps up and says he's the leader. He asks why he's there, and Kusanagi asks if they know the Black Rebellion. Ushiro's, but his men feel insulted and draw weapons. He tells them stop, saying they can't beat him. He answers that they have no ties to a weak group like that. He says his clan has honor. Kusanagi asks for the hideout, and Ushiro asks if he'll leave then. Kusanagi says he will. Surrounded by guards, Leona and Kusanagi face Ushiro. Nervous, they use false names, Chrono and Leona. Ushiro points to a map. The Black Rebellion hideout should be right around here. That's all I know, Ushiro says. Kusanagi checks the map. It matches Leona's info. He admits she did a good job. Kusanagi asks why he's sharing secrets with an outsider. Ushiro replies, we are enemies, not allies. My clan doesn't hurt good people, Ushiro says. Kusanagi asks why they attacked him. You looked like a threat. We have rules. Don't mix us up with those rebels. Respecting the honorable Yakuza, Kusanagi takes his info and leaves. Ushiro warns him that powerful people back the rebels. Kusanagi picks up Leona. I've beaten worse, he says, flying away. Ushiro watches him leave. Kid's got guts. He thinks the kid might actually destroy the rebels. Meanwhile, men meet at a warehouse to trade a secret weapon. A henchman checks it and confirms it's real. The redhead tells his crew to pay up, and the men in suits take the cash. One of them shakes the redhead's hand to seal the deal. The suited man jokes about how Japan coddles criminals. Friend agrees as they laugh. Kusanagi crashes through the window, carrying Leona. Shocked, they all ready their guns and magic. Kusanagi realizes he finally found his target. He senses that the Black Rebellion and the mobsters are all mages. Leona hides behind a container and starts filming with her phone. The redhead asks who he is. Annoyed, Kusanagi says he's the Black Mage here to end the Black Rebellion, which just confuses them. They laugh, thinking a kid can't stop them. Ignoring them, Kusanagi blasts them with a huge fireball. Several men go flying. He makes it clear he is there to destroy the whole gang. Furious, they blast him with waves of magic. Kusanagi stops it all with his barrier. He knows they won't wreck the place. He thinks of attacking, but there are too many. The thugs are shocked. Their magic and bullets did nothing. They're confused why he's untouched. They've never seen magic like this. Kusanagi is bored. They're panicking, and he isn't even trying. The man in a suit recalls their special weapon. They smirk and warn him not to get cocky. He notices them masked up and grabbing it. Kusanagi knows it and yells at Leona to run out. So Thug throws a gas bomb, but Kusanagi freezes it in the air. The poison gas explodes and spreads. Relax, thinking the Black Mage is dead. They walk forward to look for his body. When the smoke clears, they see him standing. Kusanagi says gas is just gas. He used wind magic to clear the air, calls their plan stupid, and says he won't lose easily. Terrified, they call for backup, but no one answers. Kusanagi says it's pointless. He already destroyed their other hideouts. This is all they have left. He tells them to get ready and beats them all, wiping out the Black Rebellion. As he goes to find Leona, he suddenly feels someone behind him. A man steps from the shadows, holding Leona hostage. Impressed that Kusanagi won alone, he smiles cruelly and asks to negotiate. After handling the rebels and the gas, Kusanagi leaves the warehouse to check on Leona, but finds an enemy mage holding her. The man Wagi sees he is too far, a way to use magic to save her without an opening. He starts a small spell to disarm the man, who warns him not to try anything. Kusanagi admits the man is good. The man is holding back, but his power is about 40,000. He is definitely a strong mage. Leona apologizes to Kusanagi, calling him Chrono, but he promises he will save her. Annoyed by the lack of reaction, the man threatens to actually kill Leona if he keeps being ignored. After a tense moment, Minato stays calm and agrees not to make any sudden moves. The man says his name is Kagashuji, boss of the Black Rebellion's Kabuko branch. He was sent to find the Black Mage and recruit or kill him. He tortured people only to find out the target was just a kid. Kaga gets annoyed, digs the knife into Leona's neck, and apologizes for getting carried away. He even likes watching her blood on the blade. Minato sees he's crazy and asks what he wants. Kaga stops and offers to kill Minato to spare Leona. If Minato says no or runs, he'll kill her. He makes Minato choose, but agrees to be tortured. Kaga mocks Leona, but Minato knows his barrier. will keep him safe. Kaga tells him to drop the barrier or it won't count. Leona is shocked and scared, realizes saw through him. He turns it off anyway and asks if he's satisfied. Kaga quickly shoots lightning at Minato's weak spots. Leona begs him to stop, but Kaga just keeps hurting them. Minato fakes passing out. Leona blames herself for not being strong enough. Kaga gets ready to hit them again and makes fun of her. Leona tries to stop his spell, but Kaga sees it coming. He knocks her down and calls her weak. He blames her for Minato falling and gets ready to kill her. Suddenly, Minato jumps up and punches Kaga hard in the face. Leona is shocked and asks how he survived. Minato says he hit a tiny shield just in time, so it only looked broken. Leona laughs nervously and says that is just like Minato. With Kaga down, Minato heals Leona and tells her she is safe. Leona sighs in relief, glad the black mage is on her side. But Kaga stands back up, his face healed and full of rage. Minato is impressed he's still awake after that fast hit and stays ready. Realizing torture won't work, Kaga builds a strong fire spell to burn them alive. Minato sees how dangerous he is as his magic keeps. Kaga then fires a high-level fire lightning spell straight at them. Right before it hits, Leona panics. Sure they can't stop it, Minato stays calm, his magic shield at the last second. To Leona's shock, his simple shield easily blocks the powerful attack. Watching him stop the fire so easily, she feels strangely safe standing next to him. The more she watches, the more she wants to know who this black mage really is. As his attack fails, Kaga laughs and praises Minato's power. He knew basic fire wouldn't beat him, but he has more tricks. Confused, Leona asks why Kaga's magic hasn't faded. Minato explains that Kaga keeps feeding the spell to keep it going, like using wind to fly. Leona snaps that this is no time for a lesson, but when she warns the shield might fail, she sees it still holding and wonders why. Minato says he can use green magic, so she's safe. Leona boldly tells him to give up now. Kaga fakes fear, then attacks, admitting Minato is heats up the fire on Minato's barrier. Leona suddenly gasps. Feeling weak, Kaga says his fire burned all the air and they will soon suffocate. He tells Minato to choose, suffocate or Minato yawns. Annoyed, Kaga asks if he even gets the danger. Minato calmly says he gets it better than Kaga. Kaga argues that Leona is done for and can't be saved. Leona suddenly feels strong again and is confused. Kaga stares in shock as Minato explains that he forgot magic lives in the air too. Kaga demands an explanation. Minato explains how magic works, then uses wind to blow out the fire. As his plan fails, Kaga panics and curses his luck. Minato stops him before he faints, refusing to let him off that easy. He mocks Kaga's love for torture, then sends him into the dark zone. Kaga ends up in a void, no sound, just endless darkness. He screams for help, but no. Minato finds Leona, who says the police are coming. Minato grabs her and leaves fast, ignoring her complaints as they beat the police. Safe now, Leona accepts her branch, is gone. Minato plans their move. She asks to join him, offering her intel and contacts. Minato agrees since he can't say no. Leona is happy. Later, news says the gang was caught and credits the black mage. Suddenly, breaking news cuts in. It is a nationwide video from an anti-magic group led by the black mage. A hooded figure appears on screen. He calls his group Shadowbringer and vows to wipe out all illegal mages. He warns that from now on he will not tolerate injustice from anyone. A top black rebellion member watches the broadcast and flies into a rage at the black mage's nerve. His partner stays calm, dismissing the black mage as too small to matter. This calms him down and he puts his trust in Fukushin, his powerful noble ally and head of the Fuka family. Back in his room, Fukujin watches reporters bash magic nobles as useless. Since the special unit handled the crisis better, the public wonders if nobles are even needed. Furious, Jin throws his teacup at the TV and orders his butler to summon Sho. He swears commoners will pay for mocking the nobility. Meanwhile, New York City falls into chaos as monsters suddenly attack civilians, sending people running for their lives. First responders arrive in minutes and report back as they try to contain the attack, but there are too many monsters. One officer holds them off while the other calls for help only. To hear that chaos is everywhere and no one is coming. Explosions rock the city, killing hundreds and hurting thousands. Then the monster leader appears, ready to cast a massive fire spell that could destroy the whole city. Just in time, a skilled mage arrives and blocks it with a huge water shield. It is Mizuha Toshiru, father of Uka and Ruka, and he easily stops the attack before landing on the ground. The stun team is told to back up Toshiru and help secure the area. Ignoring the praise, Toshiru focuses on the fight, uses a stronger spell to crush the leader. The force drowns the beast, ending the fight. When it is over, others crowd around to thank him. He stays calm, saying he only did his job. Soon, the mayor thanks him for saving the city. As Toshiyu prepares to leave, the crowd starts whispering. People mock a low-ranking noble acting superior. While Japan is weak, Toshiyu ignores them, worrying about his daughters and his home. Nearby, Yuika and Ruka recover from a brutal spar with Minato. Ruka complains that he is too strong and was holding back. Before they can keep complaining, Sanada arrives with more trainees. He suggests a new plan. They should all rush Minato at once. Yuika agrees, thinking he cannot fight over 100 people. Minato hears them. He appears behind them and asks if they want to try it. Ruka freezes and denies everything. Minato is not amused. He ends their break and tells them to attack him with everything. The squad jumps in and attacks all at once. They think their numbers will win. Minato ignores, them blocking everyone with a basic barrier. Yua smugly says it won't hold, but he casually raises a level, 4 barriers stunning the trainees. Determined, they pour more power into their attacks, but Minato's barrier easily blocks every hit. As they grow frustrated, they finally realize how incredibly strong Minato is. Minato then crushes them, leaving the trainees scattered and groaning across the field. After training, Wuka and Ruka check their phones and turned pale. Minato notices and asks what's wrong. The sisters look serious and say their father is back in Japan. After leaving their father's house, the sisters head to the villa for a talk. Silence fills the air until Toshiyu's about their squad. Uika confirms it. Toshiyu demands more details. Glad he's listening, they excitedly talk about the squad's good work and their great new friends. Ruka says they've improved fast thanks to Minato. Toshiyu agrees that Minato is talented and useful. When they compare Minato to him, Toshiru sets down his cup and gives a sudden order. Quit the special magic squad immediately. The sisters ask why. Toshiyu says the nobles' reputation is falling, which hurts the country. He says nobles are the real support and Minato is a threat. He bans them from seeing him. The sisters call his logic crazy. Toshiyu tells them to obey like always and turns to leave. Suddenly, Yuika says no to him for the first time in her life. She won't leave the squad or Minato because she believes he can change the world. She says nobles are lazy while the squad prepares them for real fighting. Since he's forcing them, instead of asking, Toshiru disowns hers and says she's no longer a noble. Ruka tries to speak, but Yuika just nods and walks away. She smiles at her dad and says, from now on she's just Mizuha Yuka. He won't have to worry about her ruining the family name anymore. After she leaves, Toshiyu grumbles about her attitude. Ruka warns him that Uika has changed, hoping to save one daughter. Toshiyu is disappointed again when Ruka also gives up her noble status to follow Uka. He disowns her too, telling her never to use the family name again. Ruka accepts it, thanks for everything, and walks out, leaving him alone and muttering. Free from their father at last, the sisters change into casual clothes and head to a hotel, talking about their freedom. On the way, Uka asks if Ruka is really okay leaving the family. Ruka promises that as the older sister, she'll never leave her. Uka smiles and they share a warm hug, but the mood spoils when they struggle to find a room. They try everything and talk to the manager, but get nowhere. After searching all day, every hotel and internet cafe turns them away because they are minors. Ruka could lie about her age, but Uka is too young to fake it. Exhausted, they sit down at a small cafe to rest and have a drink. Yuika sighs at the irony. They finally have money from squad work, but nowhere to stay. As they talk, 2 drunk guys approach and start hitting on Yua right in front of Ruka. Before things get worse, Ruka glares and warns them to back off. The guys sense danger, apologize, and run. Once they're gone, Yuka smiles and suggests they enjoy their night out. When Ruka asks where they will sleep, Yuka says they can figure it out later. On their first night out, they shop for clothes, sing karaoke, and just have fun together. By evening, reality sets in, but Uka thanks Ruka for a special night. She admits everything feels much less scary with Ruka by her side. Ruka smiles, but reminds her they still need a place to stay. As they look for help, Yuika gets a text from Minato. He forgot how to use his phone again. The sisters look at each other and decide to ask Minato if they can stay with him. When they visit Minato, they ask if they can stay at his house for a while. Before answering, Minato takes the sisters to the living room to talk about what happened. After hearing the full story, he asks how they feel about what they did. The girls admit they were childish and didn't think. Minato sees they are being honest and have grown closer. Yua apologizes for the trouble and asks again if they can stay, since they have nowhere else to go. Minato pauses to think it over. Since he doesn't see them that way, he lets them stay. He warns them his place is small, but they don't care at all and start chatting happily like kids. Minato notes how fast they adapt, making them blush. They start daydreaming about living with the strong and cool Minato. Yuika gets carried away. her heart pounding until she calms down. Missing their embarrassment, Minato asks if they want to shower. They freak out like he's a creep, but answer normally when he asks who goes first, leaving Minato and Ruka alone. Minato praises their choice to leave home, saying he never expected it. Ruka says she is surprised too. It's their first time defying their strict father, who never let them be independent. She thinks he will just hold on to his views tighter now. Minato reminds her that Toshiharu already hates their squad, so who knows what he will do. Before Ruka can reply, Yuika comes out in her pajamas and tells Ruka to go next. Ruka jumps in for a quick relaxing bath. While she's gone, Yua tells Minato how surreal it feels to be here. Minato says he's fine with guests. Uka thanks him, but he downplays it. She laughs at how he stays calm no matter how weird things get. Minato promises he'll never abandon his squad and friends. Uka's heart skips. Ruka then walks out. In her nightwear, Minato goes to shower, leaving sisters in a thoughtful silence. The next day, Minato tells Shido that Uka and Ruka are staying with him. Shido explodes, shocked that Minato is so relaxed about it. Shido lectures him on common sense and tradition. Minato ignores him and thinks about finding a bigger place. He sees Sonata training alone and checks on her. He asks why she's still working so hard. Sonata says she feels behind even though she's mastered attack spells. Stop being so formal, she says. He agreed. Minato tells her to try an attack spell. He offers to help Sonata. Gets ready and casts. He praises her. Keep going, you'll get stronger. She thanks him but feels weak next to the squad. Don't doubt yourself. I know how hard you work. She joined for her rare magic but feels weak there. She says sorry for venting. He asks why she joined. Her grandmother was a hero who saved many people. She joined the force to follow her example. She still doubts herself, saying she has no big goal or special skills. Minato stops her, pointing to her healing magic and hard work. He says why she started matters less than what she does now. That hits home. Sonata finally sees her training is paying off. The moment overwhelms her and she cries with relief. She calls herself a pathetic adult. But Minato says age doesn't matter. Thankful, Sonata sees Minato as the one who pulls her out of doubt. Later that night, Minato preps for his secret mission as the Black Mage. Before leaving, he meets Leona, who found info on the magic nobles. Minato asks to hear it, but says he must wear his outfit first. After he brushes her off, Leona reports on the illegal magic groups. She says magic nobles are rumored to be tied to crimes like money laundering and fraud. Some families, like the Fukus, might be linked to the Black Rebellion. Minato asks who runs it. Leona says rumors point to Kuroya Kudo, a disgraced former magic noble who was kicked out. That makes the link to the rebellion look even worse to Minato. But Leona reminds him there's no proof yet. Nobody talks and info is hard to get. She thinks anyone who speaks out gets silenced, so she warns Minato to be careful if he investigates. When they're done, Minato asks her to text him everything. When asked what's next, he says he's off to serve justice. Then he jumps off the roof, thinking about how to punish the villains. Hours later, the Black Mage goes home and becomes Minato Kusanagi again, relaxing with roommates Yuka and Ruka. The three quietly focus on their own things. With time to spare, Minato looks up Ikami Minato and the disasters from 50 years ago. Now that he can use a phone, he digs through everything he finds. Ikami's history is mostly the same but modern. Sages seem way weaker, which is odd. Finds very little on magic nobles, their bloodlines, or their past training. Minato thinks his old magic books would have prevented this. Yuka says, high-level magic guides are gone, like someone hid them on purpose. Minato thinks the Mizua head might know something, but it is hard to set up a meeting with so little info. He keeps searching for the origin of calamities, but finds nothing. Yuka sees his frustration and returns to work. The next day during training, the team gets an emergency call about a calamity and rushes out. When they arrive, they find Shufuka and his sidekick standing over a dead monster. Confused, Minato stays calm while Shu mocks them for being late. Shu brags about killing it first and tells Minato to relax since no one got hurt. Shu brags he saved the day. Smugly tells the team to stay sharp and leaves. Eureka asks what's up with Shu, but Minato doesn't know. Shu's group keeps stealing all the credit. He mocks the unit for being slow. Usa snaps when he calls their whole team useless. After he leaves, she notes he's done this 5 times now. Something fishy is going on. Shido says they might be sabotaged because their reports are always arriving late. Minato can't sense threats from far away. Uka notes Shu always hides when a real boss appears. Sonata sees the Fukus getting huge online support, which is weird since everyone hated them recently. The team watches Jin Fuka's press conference. He shocks everyone by bowing, apologizing for his son. Reporters are stunned that a noble would apologize. Jin vows to make things right as a father. The news reports that Shu handled several disasters before the magic unit could even arrive. With his plan working, Jin speaks up about the lack of skilled magic nobles. He adds they're fixing it. But on line half, the comments support the Fukas, making Uka furious. She vents to the team, wondering if their hard work was for nothing and if people will just laugh. Before she explodes, Minato tells her to calm down. He reminds them their mission hasn't changed despite public opinion and asks them to trust him. A few days later, Shido is called to an important meeting. His boss warns that the magic squad is in danger as complaints rise and fights with nobles worsen. When Shido mentions how suspicious Shu is, his boss shuts him down for picking fights with nobles. He blames Shido for creating the squad and making enemies, calling the mess his responsibility. Shido asks if their work is being blocked, but his boss scolds him for even suggesting sabotage. He says the squad must look better and please the nobles, or they're finished. Meanwhile, Jin Fuka watches with a smirk. He knows a good show, and some lies fool the public easily. With everyone on his side, Jin expects to crush the magic squad soon. A week later, the squad eats on the roof, annoyed by their lack of work. Ruka notes the Fukas handle disasters, but Ryuji suspects a police traitor. Minato agrees. Some cops side with the nobles and fear the squad. Uka is confused, but Minato explains the squad makes the nobles look bad. Fed up, Yuka yells that the useless nobles should fix their own mess. She later wonders if her father is involved, but Ruka doubts it. Minato finishes eating, stands up, and says they are going to the Mizuo estate to see for themselves. The sisters hesitate because things are bad with their father. Minato says they can stay behind, but they come along anyway. Soon they reach the Mizuo villa, where two female guards stop them at the gate. They introduce themselves, but the guards still refuse to let them in. When Yuika and Ruka ask to enter, the guards say their master banned his disowned daughters. Just as the sisters give up, Minato steps forward, claims to be the SMT captain, and asks to question Toshio. The guards tell him to make an appointment, but Minato says he only needs a few answers. Annoyed, he thinks about forcing his way. Just as Toshio suddenly shows up. After hearing what happened, he lets them inside. On the way to the meeting room, Minato jokes about how young Toshiharu looks and asks if he is their brother. The girls speak up. Young or not, he is still their father. They sit down and Toharu blames Minato for ruining his daughters. Minato replies that blaming others for your kids growing up is just bad parenting. He asks why Toshiharu isn't proud his daughters are growing up. Toharu looks closely at him, realizing Minato is completely serious. Minato gets straight to the point, asking if Toshiharu is pressuring the magic team. Toshiharu denies it, saying nobles rarely work together and Fuka is alone. Tosaru notes Minato's drive and admits he heard of him. He knows Minato is a student with noble-level power who saved people from major disasters. Still unsure, he challenges Minato to a test. Toshiharu releases a massive wave of energy to show off his power. To his surprise, Minato matches his energy without trying. The rest of the team, including the sisters, can barely move under the heavy pressure. When the pressure stops, Toshiharu praises Minato, but Minato shrugs it off as basic magic control. He notes Toshiharu held back, which impresses. Minato then asks why mages today are weaker than in the past. Toshiharu asks why he wants to know. When Minato mentions 50 years ago, Tosaru claims mages were weakened to stay in control. Minato asks him to clarify. Says Minato will understand soon. He calls magic nobles necessary. Mat asks about the Fukas. Toharu stays silent. Realizing he won't get answers, Minato stands, thanks him, and leaves. Before leaving, the others say they're still weak from the mana burst. Minato helps them up as they head out. He tells Toshio he's glad his family isn't corrupt, or he'd have acted differently. He adds that Toshio's daughters are close friends of his. Toshio asks what he means, but Minato just walks away. Days later, the special squad gets new uniforms made of anti-magic material. She says the team is now at full strength. Minato gets everyone together to face the Fukas. Jin and Shu Fuka celebrate. Jin brags he will rule Japan but police raid the estate and stop them. A reporter covers the live arrest on TV. From a chopper, she says a noble is finally facing charges. Police arrest Jin for crimes and search his home. Furious, he demands proof, saying he is a noble. The magic team arrives. Minato shows his phone and says he has all the proof. Shu recognizes him and asks. Jin calls the evidence fake, but Minato shows photos him taking bribes and plotting murder. Minato plays a video of them, ignoring a danger to people. Asks if that is fake too. Trapped Jin rages and demands to know who was spying on him. The butler steps up. Jin grabs his throat, screaming at the man he supported for years. The butler admits he met the Black Mage, who asked if loyalty means ignoring corruption. Stuck for an answer, the butler was told to choose between good and evil. Now he says Jin is no real noble and must go. Furious, Jin makes magic circles and threatens to kill everyone. Before he strikes, Minato shatters the circles and blows a hole in the wall. He says there's no escape. Jin cries over his ruin, but Minato says he caused it. In one last act, Jin boasts about his hidden base overseas. He swears he'll escape and kill everyone. First, Jin's side attacks the police, but Minato blocks it and tells them to retreat. Minato blasts another hole. The news captures it all. News reports say the Fuka family is resisting arrest, making everyone doubt the magic nobles. Live on TV, the reporter asks if nobles can be trusted, then reminds viewers that Minato and the SMT are here. Outside, both sides prepare to fight. Minato faces Jin, while Shu and his men take on the rest. Shu mocks the SMT before the fight, asking if they really think they can win with such small numbers. Yuika fires back that unlike spoiled nobles, their squad is busy fighting real disasters. Shu gets angry, says he won't hold back anymore, and threatens to kill everyone. Yuika calls him a disgrace to nobles, and says they will never forgive what he did to innocent people. Jin asks Minato if he thinks he can beat a noble. Minato replies he won't lose to weak trash. Jin shoots at the news helicopter, but Minato blocks it and calls. Jin snaps back that he only cares about profit. Meanwhile, Yuika, Ruka, Sanada, and their team begin to overwhelm the Fuka forces. Shu panics as his side loses. He can't accept that commoners are beating nobles. He orders his men to use their best magic and kill the SMT at all costs. As the enemy readies big spells, the Mizuha sisters combine their power to unleash a level 6 water spell, Burst Stream. The single blast crushes Shu and his men, leaving them helpless before the SMT. Shu drops to his knees, claiming it was just. He begs for mercy and swears he will change. Uka sees through him and pretends to accept. She and Ruka turn. Shu attacks from behind, but the sisters expected it and pin him down. They ask if he really expected forgiveness when he never planned to change. His final trick failed. Shu breaks down and cries. Knowing his team won, Minato tells Jin that his precious son has finally been beaten. As his empire falls apart, Jin finally gets serious. After a quick stare down, he attacks from the air with a level 1 wind spell. Minato easily dodges it. Frustrated, Jin throws a level 2 wind spear to catch him off guard, but Jin follows with a level 3 wind cutter, but Minato dodges again. The helicopter reporter is amazed by Jin's power, but worries if Minato can keep handling this endless attack. To finish the fight, Jin powers up and casts a level 4 Tempest wind spell, creating a vortex that sucks in everything nearby. When Minato avoids 2, Jin upgrades it to level 5 Grand Typhoon, to tear through anything. Minato's team sees the danger and begs him to retreat. Ignoring them, Minato makes a 4-layer magic shield and blocks the typhoon completely. Ruka is shocked he blocked such a deadly spell, while Ryuji just watches with respect, already used to Minato's reckless bravery. Live viewers are left speechless, finally seeing the true power of a magic noble after Jin easily casts a level 5 spell. But the real shock is how easily Minato stops it. Meanwhile, the reporter keeps the audience glued with constant commentary. During a brief pause, Jin wonders why Minato hasn't attacked yet, suspects he is just waiting for backup. He mocks Minato, asking why he is holding back. Minato smirks, saying he wants the fight to last because he is having fun. That answer makes Jin show his real power. He claims his mana is 200,000 and tells Minato not to panic at the difference. The SMT team scoffs, thinking he is lying, since 100,000 is rare. Ruka wants to help, but Minato warns her to stay back. They back off immediately. Jin laughs, saying he would have killed them if they got any closer. He summons 5 magic circles, unleashing his power, glowing as shock waves ripple across the field. The SMT watches in fear. Jin asks if he can feel his massive power. Minato stays silent, watching as Jin readies a spell to crush everything in its path. A green portal appears above, pulsing faster. For the first time, Minato smiles, curious about the spell. Seeing that, Jin proudly shows off his ultimate move. He calls it air magic, claiming it crushes people instantly. Amused, Minato tells him to go ahead. Furious, pushes the spell to level 6, warping the air so no one can escape. Minato just stands there, the portal swallows him. Jin laughs, sure he crushed him. The SMT members think their leader is gone. For a minute, Uika and Ruka beg him to answer. Just as they give up, Minato speaks and the sisters gasp. He says he isn't dead. Yet, Jin asks how he lived. He balanced the pressure like a deep-sea creature. Still shaking, Jin asks how Minato used his own signature spell. Minato grins and says he just copied it. Jin is stunned, and Minato says had attacked sooner, he might have won. Minato then uses some smagic to hurt Jin's ears. Jin stumbles, asking what happened. Minato smirks, saying he raised the pressure. Watching, Eureka finally understands Minato. Humiliated, Jin loses all control. He releases his full power, saying he is done holding back. He says 200,000 mana was just a warm-up, and his full power is 500,000. Shido and the SMT feel the surge and know Jin isn't lying. As round 2 starts, Jin tells Minato to despair and readies his best attack. Jin gathers magic, stunning the SMT. Ryuji says Jin is too strong. Shido warns Minato might not win. At full power, Jin starts bragging again. Minato yawns and Jin stops confused. Jin asks if Minato is too dead to get it, but gets no reply. Jin keeps talking, then throws a portal. That does Jin powers up more, summoning 6 magic circles. The energy is so strong it makes the SMT nervous. It's the first level 7 spell they've seen all year. As tension grows, Yuka decides to trust Minato and hopes he wins. With his spell ready, Jin mocks Minato for waiting. He says it's too late for regret. Only despair is left. Annoyed, Minato asks if he will finally attack. Jin keeps talking, then best move, level 7 plasma break. The violent blast throws the chopper off balance. The SMT members scramble to find a way to stop it. Desperate, Ruka begs Minato to run, but he stays. Jin warns him to escape now, or his friends will die. Minato accepts the challenge without flinching. He casts a level 4 spell, creating a corp amethyst. Jin laughs, mocking the tiny crystal. Minato fires the crystal into the spell's core. Instantly, plasma break vanishes. Jin and the SMT members freeze in utter shock, staring in disbelief's answers. Minato casually replies that wind is weak to earth, so the amethyst easily shut down the slow spell. Minato mocks Jin for not knowing that, leaving the noble rattled. Still confused, Jin asks for a deeper explanation. Minato explains that the amethyst is weak for attacking, but its dense magic absorbs opposite elements, canceling out higher rank spells. Still stunned, Jin asks who could possibly know such a crazy spell. Minato smirks, saying he made it for fun. Jin completely breaks, to accept that his life's work was beaten on a whim. With the fight basically over, Minato steps forward and tells Jin to get ready for his punishment. Before he can act, Jin quickly surrenders, saying he is out of magic and can't move. Minato says he won't beat up someone so pathetic. Instead, he flicks Jin's forehead. Jin thinks it's a joke and ignores it. The moment Minato flicks him, Jin flies back and passes out. SMT team stares in shock, wondering if their leader is even human. With Jin down, the police move in to take him. Meanwhile, a reporter in a chopper announces that Captain Minato has defeated a magic noble. Across the country, people celebrate and praise Minato. After the battle, the SMT members gather around to congratulate him for beating Fukujin. As the police drag Jin away, Minato feels let down by Japan's magic nobles. They were just frauds. Before Jin leaves, Minato asks what the nobles did after Ichikami Minato died 50 years ago. When Jin stays silent, Minato asks if they destroyed the magic tome and demands to know why. Jin replies that commoners could never understand them. Minato asks for an explanation, but Jin just smirks and tells him to figure it out himself. A few hours later, Minato attends a press conference with Shido, team chief. When it begins, he gives a brief statement about the fight. His comments go viral and his popularity blows up overnight. Days later, Minato is relaxing on a Hawaii beach, wondering how he got there. Yuka walks over in a swimsuit and asks what he's thinking. He remembers his last meeting where Ryuji asked why they were going to Hawaii. Shido explains that SMT is so popular now that things are getting out of hand. Uka finds a video of Minato surrounded by girls and realizes people are even filming them at school. She tells the team their videos are blowing up on social media. Ruka adds that the internet is full of SMT news. Shido confirms all of Japan is watching, so he planned a Hawaii trip to let things cool down. He says Minato helps win support from the Mizuo clan to cover disasters while they are away. He tells them to use the trip to rest and leaves them to get ready. Back in the present, Minato stands and tells Eureka he was just thinking. Uka shyly points to her swimsuit and asks if it looks weird. Minato quickly says she looks cute. The compliment catches Eureka off guard and she turns bright red. Minato keeps going, saying the swimsuit suits her style and looks really good. Uka awkwardly thanks him, then turns away to compose herself. Ruka arrives in a dark swimsuit, annoyed that Minato dodged her all day. Seeing his confusion, she asks if he has anything to say. Minato says he was admiring her, noting how lovely the swimsuit looks on her. Flustered by the compliment, Ruka turns away blushing and thanks him. Ryuji is amazed at how easily and sincerely Minato compliments the girls. Sonata arrives in a white dress and apologizes for the wait. Ryuji is stunned, noticing her figure for the first time. Sonata asks Minato what he thinks of her outfit. Ryuji silently prays he won't mention her body. With everyone watching, Minato compliments her style. Sonata asks what he means. Minato says the outfit suits her elegance. She's caught off guard and blushes. Ryuji is shocked by how easily Minato makes everyone blush and teases him about it. Minato says he's just being honest and likes to praise people who deserve it. He thinks the girls look great, but then he suddenly compliments Ryuji's physique too. Ryuji shuts him down and tells him not to compliment guys in front of the girls. The group spends the rest of the day playing volleyball, jet skiing, and taking photos. That night, Minato goes out to a convenience store for a drink. He sees Yui looking shy and walks with her, talking about their recent break. Uka notices the ring Ruka wore and wonders if her sister is dating Minato. Reminding herself Minato is single, Yuika stops overthinking. He stays quiet, letting her speak first. She gets up her courage and asks what kind of girl he likes. When he says he has never thought about it, she jokingly names herself, Ruka, and Sonata, telling him to pick one. Minato thinks for a second and picks all three, saying they are all pretty, hardworking, and great. Yuika gets annoyed and says that isn't real love. Confused, Minato admits he thought love and liked someone were the same. He thinks it over and says if he had to choose, he likes Yuika best. She freezes in shock while he honestly lists everything he likes about her. Her face turns bright red and she crouches down out of pure embarrassment. Worried, Minato kneels beside her and asks if she is okay. Still blushing, Yuka says even if he didn't mean it romantically, his words make her happy and show how much she loves him. Back in Japan, Shido checks social media and sees that things are getting worse. More people are turning against the magic nobles, wanting the SMT to handle disasters and monster attacks. Meanwhile, the vigilante Shadowbringer is gaining popularity, and people online keep arguing about a fight between him and Minato. Shido knows he has a big decision to make. At the airport, a plane lands with two family heads, both clearly annoyed by the chaos that happened while they were away. Hinata, head of the Homarai family, and Riku, head of the Kai family, get off the plane complaining about the mess waiting for them. A week later, Minato and the girls return to Japan and go back to normal life. While Yuika makes dinner one evening, Minato says their vacation ended way too fast. Sitting next to him, Ruka says the school and SMT tightened media control, so the paparazzi should back off. Yuika asks for the plates and Minato helps set the table. Dinner, Yua asks about school tomorrow. Minato says the attention should have died down by now with the police and school helping. After chatting a bit more, he says they should just ignore it, since people will lose interest soon. The next day, he is proven wrong when girls from other classes swarm him, asking if he has a girlfriend. When it becomes too much, Uka and the others brush the students off and go to lunch. On the way, Uka says things were even worse before the trip. Sometimes outsiders would sneak into the school just to say they were out of toilet paper. Minato suggests hitting the store for supplies and the bath salts Eureka likes. The other students overhear and realize Minato lives with the Mizwa sisters. Feeling embarrassed, Yuka pulls them toward the rooftop to eat. Ryuji agrees their living situation makes sense and offers his help anytime. The girls thank him for the offer. Ryuji tells Minato to stop being so formal and use first names instead. Minato says they can call him Eureka, starts to speak but suddenly feels self-conscious. She shakes it off, deciding it's fine as long as things stay normal. Ryuji and Minato look at each other, confused by her mood shift. Once she calms down, Uika asks Minato if living with them feels awkward. He doesn't reply right away. They finish lunch and spend the rest of the day in peace. That night, while Ruka and Minato sleep, Uka's awake wondering how they can rest so easily. She wonders if she is the only one bothered by their living situation. When the silence gets to her, she throws a small fit, then forces herself to sleep. A bit later, Ruka wakes up thinking almost the same thing. She still isn't used to sharing a room with Minato. Since she can't sleep, she sits up to figure out why it bothers her. Still confused, she looks over at Minato sleeping on the floor. That alone makes her blush. When her thoughts turn inappropriate, she pulls the blanket over her head. She remembers how others, Minato, and wonders why she still calls him Kusanagi. She remembers when she almost choked trying to call him Minato on the way to school. She just said Kusanagi and then mumbled something that confused Minato. Another time on the rooftop, she couldn't say his first name. She cringes at the memory and hates being too scared to do something simple. The next morning, Minato sees Ruka looking down and asks if she's sick. Ruka says she's fine but calls him Kusanagi again. Minato stops her and reminds her they aren't strangers anymore. He tells her to stop using his last name and just call him Minato. Blushing, Ruka finally finds the courage to say his first name. In secret, the magic nobles meet to talk about their bad reputation. Hinata blames the special magic squad for the nobles losing support. While she thinks it over, Riku asks how she will handle Captain Minato Kusanagi. Unsure, Hinata asks her thoughts. He says he only follows their lord's will, which annoys her. When pressed, Toshiharu reveals Minato doesn't recognize. Hinata asks if he knows nothing about them, and he says yes. Learning Minato knows nothing, Riku decides to test him. If he's useful, fine. If not, they'll kill him without hesitation. The next day, Minato tells his team the next big disaster will hit Osaka, following the same pattern from 50 years ago. Eureka notes disasters are happening much faster now and are hard to predict. Response: teams are a mess, and without specialized groups elsewhere, things will get worse. Shido proudly tells Minato the police are starting a second MT in Osaka. They worked with forces to improve response, and the trainees want Minato to train them. Shido asks if he will go. Minato can't really say no, making Shido even happier. Shido then tells him a survivor from the disaster 50 years ago is waiting for him there. That's Shizuku Takigami, one of the few anti-mon gear makers left, and she wants to speak with Minato. Minato agrees to meet her, and Shido mentions that Takami made the SMT uniforms. With everything ready, Minato goes to the airport to meet his team one last time. Just before the flight leaves, Minato pulls bangle out of his pocket for each teammate. He tells them to keep the bangles on and not remove them for any reason until he returns. When he asks if they'll be okay without him, they say they've gotten stronger too, so he shouldn't worry about Osaka. Minato says goodbye, tells them he's counting on them, and takes his first-class seat. Once they fly, he thinks about Hawaii, but is soon distracted by his luxurious seat. He admits Shido treated him pretty well this time. Then he notices some strange, unfamiliar people boarding the plane and wonders who they are. When Hinata and Riku sit near him, Minato immediately senses they are strong magicians. There are a few more on board, but with tight security he thinks they won't be an issue. After boarding, the plane takes off, and Minato gets a delicious meal. He enjoys his food, then leans back to relax and look out the window. Suddenly, rogue mages stand up and take hostages, including Minato. They threaten to kill anyone who doesn't listen. Minato, Hinata, and Riku stay quiet in their seats, waiting for the right moment. During the hijacking, Minato counts the rogue mages and spots 10 of them. If he fights them one by one, other passengers might get hurt. Using strong magic could damage the plane. He decides he can't do this alone and needs help. The plane is in chaos. Passengers beg for mercy while the hijackers yell at them to stay quiet. Soon, the criminals control the whole plane. A mage approaches Minato and demands he free the BR members, claiming they won't stand for this treatment. When Minato stays silent, the man gives him 5 minutes to call the ground or they'll start killing hostages. They confirm the pilot heard their threat before they start the countdown. With no time left, Minato carefully thinks over his next move. He glances at Riku and Hinata, who are charging power to attack. A mage spots him and warns he'll die if he moves. Suddenly, while the hijackers are distracted, Hinata and Riku rush in and take them down fast. After clearing the guards, the three share a look, move to take out the rest of the hijackers. During the fight, mages try to hit Hinata, but she is far too strong for them. Riku, and Minato keep knocking the hijackers down without stopping. Suddenly, a mage grabs a flight attendant and threatens to crash the plane if they don't quit. The moment he loses focus, Minato lunges, kicks him down, and frees the guard. Meanwhile, Hinata and Riku take down the others, leaving the passengers shocked that strangers saved them. As people thank them, Hinata mocks the mages for being weak and boring. Minato senses trouble in the cockpit, tells the others it's not over, and rushes the door. Inside, they find a mage holding the pilot at gunpoint, warning them back. Fed up, Hinata punches him. He falls. He shoots a control. Minato shields the pilot, but knows they're in big trouble. The plane loses balance and starts shaking violently. The pilot tries everything but gives up. The controls and radio are dead. If nothing changes, they will crash into the mountains. Hinata panics, grabs the pilot and begs him to save them. Then a window breaks, and freezing air rushes in, making the co-pilot fear they'll freeze before they crash. Seeing the situation, Hinata asks the others for ideas. Riku says they should just die. Hinata snaps at him, wondering if this is really the end. With no options left, the pilots tell everyone to prepare for the end. Then Minato finally smiles and says he will save them all. The pilot warns him that no one can fix this. They are doomed. Ignoring their shouts, Minato walks to the broken window. Then he jumps out of the plane. Hinata thinks Minato fled, but the plane starts falling fast, minutes from crashing. Passengers pray while the pilot tries to pull up. Suddenly, a miracle happens. The plane steadies and climbs again. The shocked pilots wonder what happened. Hinata tells them Minato saved them. If she's right, he's holding up the whole plane by himself. Sure enough, Minato is under the 230-ton plane, guiding it to the nearest airport. He explains that he used void magic for a barrier, boosted his body and used wind magic to steer it. It's his first time, so it's tough. The pilot can't believe one person is carrying a 230-ton plane. Seeing what Minato can do, the pilot views him as a monster and takes a deep interest in him. The passengers and crew finally calm down. They cry with relief, but the pilot warns that the landing gear is stuck. That means a safe landing now depends completely on Minato. The pilot lines up with the runway, hoping Minato has a plan. As they approach, Minato casts a high magic wall spell. He uses the barrier to soften the descent and slow the plane to a stop. Once Minato lands the plane, the whole cabin cheers and strangers hug each other. Even the pilot salutes Captain Kusanagi like a soldier. Riku and Hinata just stare, waiting for their meeting. Reporters swarm him, asking how he saved everyone. Minato is already tired after a stressful flight. Before he snaps, security pushes the media back and promises a press conference later. They then escort Minato to Takigami's home. Hinata and Riku stop him to offer praise, but Minato credits them both instead. Their plan failed, so they make a few remarks and leave, with Hinata hoping they meet again. Soon, Minato is guided to Takigami's room, where she welcomes him inside. After sitting, Takigami explains she is interested in his recent magic feats. Much of it reminds her of her old ally, Ikami Minato. Void magic is rare, difficult, and often considered useless. Takigami is shocked that Minato knows Ikami's magic and asks how. Minato laughs after hearing her, saying she hasn't changed at all. Takigami asks if they've met, and Minato says they've met countless times. He explains simply that he can use the magic because he is Ikami Minato. She remains calm, noting that many people lie about knowing Ikami for attention. She assumes he's just another fake, apologizes, and asks him to leave. Minato mentions the brothers and their Ikami doll, reminding her she once wanted to make one. Takigami sweats, wondering how he could know such a private thing. Minato says she believed the doll gave children strength, and Ikami still saves people today. Takigami starts to believe him and asks if he really is Ikami. Upset that she doubts him, Minato tells her a story. After sharing old memories, Takigami finally believes he is the reincarnated Ichigami. When he teases her for doubting him, she says believing in reincarnation is hard nowadays. Ichigami was always unusual, but she never expected him to return in her lifetime. After updating him on the world disasters since his death, Takigami tearfully admits how happy she is to see him again. Once she calms down, Minato reminds Takigami that she knows what happened over the last 50 years. He says he noticed magic knowledge isn't being passed down properly. Sorcerers are weaker, rumors about Ichigami are full of lies, and fake magic nobles suddenly appeared. He asks her to explain what happened while he was gone. She starts to answer, but a shocking text stops her. Minato asks what's wrong, but she hides it and ends the meeting early, asking him to stay the night so they can talk tomorrow. Minato agrees and goes to his room. At midnight, Riku sneaks into Minato's room and slashes the bed to kill him, but Minato stands nearby, mocking him for attacking an empty bed. He doesn't recognize him at first, but then he realizes it's Riku. Before Minato can speak, Riku attacks again and Minato dodges. A second later, Riku kicks him through the window. Minato lands safely in the yard, but Riku is already waiting there. Riku uses level 1 earth magic rock break. Minato uses a level 1 void magic barrier to block the blows. After a few hits, Riku cuts through barrier and forces Minato to get serious. Before round 2, Minato praises the blade, asks if it's anti-magic. Riku says nothing. Both gather their mana and get ready again. Right before they clash, Hinata appears and stops them. Minato knew she'd be involved. Hinata ignores him and tells him to come along quietly. She shows him video of her team surrounding his friends' homes, threatening to kill them if he resists. Minato sees the trap but stays calm, asking what she wants. Hinata introduces herself and Riku, offering him wealth, power, and status if he joins them. She adds that joining them is the only way to keep his friends safe. If he refuses, she warns that they will hunt him and ruin everyone he knows. After she demands an answer, furious, Hinata orders her men to start Plan B against his friends. She wants to crush his spirit once and for all. As her men move in, the charms Minato gave his friends glow, creating magic decoys that terrify the attackers. Before they can act, The decoys use powerful magic to wipe them out. Hinata notices her team is quiet and tries to call them. When no one answers, Riku knows they have been defeated. Angry Hinata demands an explanation, but Minato calls her an idiot. Hinata hates him but admits he passed the first test. She denies they planned the hijacking and says round 2 is starting. Minato jokes about skipping the fight, but Hinata and Riku rush him. Hinata kicks at Minot, but he blocks it easily. She jumps back and fires a level 4 fire flare. The blast is loud, but Minato is untouched. Riku strikes at Minato's neck, but he blocks with a barrier. He sighs, knowing that would have killed anyone else. Hinata fires a level 5 fire column. Minato likes it, then wipes it out with a level 3 water splash. Seeing that, Hinata finally believes the rumors that he can cast without chanting. When he blocks her level 5 spell with a level 31, she feels like he's mocking her magic. Riku attacks again, but Minato dodges and tells them to take the fight to the sky. Hinata agrees right away and flies up with her pet fighter Riku. She admits they underestimated him before, but not anymore. Then both of them unleash their strongest spells. Hinata casts level 7 Fire Magic Demon's Blaze while Riku uses level 7 Earth Magic Comet. After boasting that Minato can't stop her ultimate move, they launch both attacks at him. Minato isn't impressed. He casts level 7 Void Magic Vanish, which swallows and erases both attacks completely. Hinata and Riku stand frozen, unable to process what just happened. Minato explains that he scattered the magic to limit local damage. Hinata calls it nonsense, saying he's just cheating a real fight. She claims everything before was pointless and vows to show her true power. Before she can, the air suddenly changes and they all notice it. Then the sky turns red and Minato realizes the disaster reached Osaka. With everything else going on, this feels way too perfect to be a coincidence. Back inside, Takigami sees the red glow from her window. She watches it for a moment, then closes the blinds. Hinata sees the disaster too, but ignores it. She still wants to fight and crush Minato. Riku stops her and reminds her of their mission. Hinata realizes he's right and calms down. Minato says their fight must wait. He has to stop the calamity. He flies to Dobari, the district ruined by the disaster 50 years ago. He notes that monsters still roam here, making it too dangerous for anyone to be around. Sensing swarms of monsters, Minato realizes he can't handle them all alone. If they reach human areas, people will die, so he needs help. Riku and Hata arrive to help. Minato teases them about giving up, but Riku says their last fight was just a test. Minato agrees to work together, knowing their conflict isn't over yet. Monsters flood the streets, so 3 jump into action. Hinata leaps in dramatically, calling it a show. She blasts a whole horde away with a level 5 fire blast. Riku clears out his side easily too. Above them, Minato fires a level 5 magic barrage, wiping out weaker monsters while waiting for the boss. Scanning the field, Minato notices an old man walking with a cane. Worried, he lands to ask if he's okay, but the man says nothing. Minato offers a safe escort, but the man pushes him back with a frown. After a moment, he thanks Minato for caring and says he's fine. He looks familiar, but before Minato can think, an assistant helps the man into a black car and they drive away. Soon emergency teams rush in and block area's exits to stop the disaster from spreading. Their quick speed impresses Minato, reminding him of Shido's words about how ready they are despite lacking real experience. Minato lands next to an officer who mistakes him for a lost kid. Once the officer recognizes the magic team captain, he lets him help. A monster sneaks up behind the officer, but Minato burns it to save him. He tells them to stay alert and asks for a status report. The officer says they cleared the area and saved civilians, but can't stop. Boss Minato tells them he'll handle it. The soldiers thank him, and Minato adds that he brought backup. His backup is Riku and Hinata, 2 powerful magic nobles. Shocked, the soldiers ask if the team and the nobles are working together. Minato stays quiet, but he sees their hope return as they trust both sides. Suddenly, a dark purple mist spreads through the air. The soldiers grow heavy and can barely move. A huge figure slowly appears through the fog. The officers recognize it instantly. The chief demon, the boss monster, it alone could destroy Osaka. Normal humans stand no chance against it. But Minato just smirks, complaining it took too long to show up. His calm attitude shocks the officers. Before Minato can move, Hinata and Riku step in to claim the chief demon, telling him to just watch. Even though he wanted to fight, Minato backs off and lets them face such a strong enemy. With the stage set, Riku and Hinata prepare for a desperate battle. After Hinata's usual nonsense, they launch their level 6 spells again. Demon Blaze and Comet shoot at the chief demon, who just stands there like they're idiots. The chief demon completely wipes them out with his level 8 fire spell, Supernova, blinding everyone. Everyone is shocked that a monster can use magic this powerful. Realizing how strong it is, Hinata and Riku get ready to strike again. The lead demon speaks up, asking if any strong mages are there. Soldiers know they are smart, but hearing one talk still shocks them. Minato gets their fear. Smart monsters are rare and scary. He stays quiet, watching the nobles act like fools. After missing, Hinata rages and vows to burn the demon with a huge fire spell. Riku, also angry, covers sword in heavy gravity magic. Minato is curious to see their unique magic take the demon down. The demon mocks their power, then points out Minato's massive mana instead. Insulted, Hinata and Riku draw spells and charge with their fists. The demon dodges easily, laughing at how slow they are. After playing with them a bit, strikes back and sends them both flying. He blends fire and wind into a level 6 flare cyclone, crushing the nobles in one shot. As Riku and Hinata struggle to stand, Minato steps up and tells them to leave it to him. Hinata tries to stop him, saying if even magic nobles lost, he has no chance. Riku urges a retreat, but Minato calmly says, this monster is nothing. Riku asks if he feels the chief demon's massive power. Hinata won't give up. They must prove their worth. Minato walks up and mocks the chief demon. When the demon asks for his name, Minato scoffs and asks why he should tell him. The chief demon shrugs it off, saying humans mean nothing to demonkind anyway. With that settled, the fight begins. The chief demon strikes from all sides, but Minato's barrier blocks everything. Hinata thinks he's losing and brags that she knew he would fail. Before she can finish, Minato casually blows the chief demon back, calling him annoying. The two nobles are speechless. The demon's constant attacks can't even scratch Riku realizes defending isn't enough against such a tough demon. Minato wants to try a new spell but hesitates with the nobles watching. Instead, he changes plans and casts a level 9 void spell, Magic Sparkle, to set up his counterattack. Hinata is shocked. She always thought level 8 was the highest magic could go. Minato traps the demon in glowing yellow void circles and ends the fight instantly. The soldiers are shocked. Minato just beat the monster the nobles couldn't touch. When Minato lands, the soldiers cheer wildly. Some even call him a savior. Minato walks to the defeated nobles and casually says the monster was no trouble. Totally crushed, Hinata admits they aren't on his level and can't hope to beat him. Minato asks if they still want to fight. Both surrender immediately and say he passed their test. Now, Minato demands answers. Riku agrees but wants one more person present, Takami. Just then, Takigami arrives and asks if Minato knew she planned this. He nods. She could never hide from him. He demands to know why she tested him, why mages grew weaker over 50 years, and why she works with the nobles. Before answering, Takigami takes Minato and the nobles to her house to talk privately. Once they sit down, Minato asks if she knew the nobles before his return. Takigami knew he'd be attacked. Minato asks why she let it happen, but Riku says they just wanted to test if Minato would use his power selfishly. Minato says his friends got hurt too. Riku claims they were only threatened, not meant to be harmed. Minato asks why they did it. Riku's Minato joining the SMT weakens the nobles and puts Japan at risk. Minato argues that the nobles caused this mess through neglect, not the SMT. The nobles were arrogant. Hinata acts out, but Riku tells her to stop because Minato is right. Riku says society needs the nobles. Takami adds that Japan's problems began 50 years ago after Minato died, creating the current system. When Takami Minato died and demons left, Japan was overrun by illegal mages. There were so many that police and the SDF couldn't handle the chaos. Law and order failed. The few good mages tried to fight back but were killed. The country nearly collapsed. Japan explains fell apart after Minato died. With no hope left, the mages finally created the magic nobles. They wanted to win people's trust and to become a new symbol of hope like Minato. Since magic was dangerous, during peace, the nobles took every magic book, gathered everyone with talent, and got rid of those who refused to join. By controlling all magic knowledge, they stopped all teaching and rumors, bringing peace to Japan. But the cost was huge. Japanese mages grew weaker, and politics caused a drop in technology and knowledge. Minato has seen this before and remembers the chaos from 50 years ago. People dying, mages falling, and magic used for evil. Now he sees it only got worse after his death. He asks Takigami if the nobles really have enough power to control things this much. Glancing at the nobles, Takigami quietly asks Minato if he remembers Mumu. Hifumi, his old subordinate, a sore loser but extremely gifted. When Minato says yes, she reveals Mumu is now chairman of the powerful Mumu group. He was already known as the heir to the Mumu conglomerate. and for the past 50 years, he's been funding the magic nobles. That finally makes their influence to Minato, though he never knew Mumu was an heir. Takigami laughs at how little Ikami Minato cares about status, money, or fame. He's always only cared about magic and people. She adds, Japanese mages were once among the best in the world during Minato's time, but now they've fallen badly. Hinata cuts in, insisting Japan only stayed peaceful because of their predecessors. Minato asks what she'd do if another disaster hit. She has no answer and goes quiet. Riku says they believe the police can handle anything, with the magic nobles stepping in only if things get truly bad. Minato asks if they get it now, but Riku stays silent. Minato turns to Takigami and asks. She says yes, she has for 50 years. She isn't a magic noble, just gear maker. She seems content, but Minato still thinks she is hiding secrets and asks again. She insists she told him everything. Minato shifts focus and suggests an alliance between the nobles and SMT to fight DR. He states they will be partners, not bosses, since they failed last time. They have to work together. Hinata asks why he even needs their help. Minato says he has limits but will drop the past if they join. He asks if they will help the people. Riku admits they cannot win alone and trusts Minato. Takigami agrees to help with her gear. Minato gladly agrees. After some fussing, Hinata agrees as long as Minato stops bringing up their past failures. He agrees but tells them to stop taking hostages to get his attention. They accept. With that, SMT and the nobles form their first alliance in 50 years. Soon after, Minato feels he forgot something but cannot recall what it is. Around then, the other SMT members wake up to find beaten men tied up by their beds. They assume it is about their bangles. By noon the next day, Minato arrives at Osaka Police School, where a crowd of students waits. The attention catches him off guard, but the instructor quickly tells the excited trainees to line up and behave. He also apologizes for the mess. The instructor explains that many joined the police because they admire Minato, especially after what SMT did during the disasters. Minato sighs and gets to work. Later, he calls some students over and tells them to ready their level 1 spells. Then he tells them to shoot at the wooden targets. During training, Minato notices 3 girls staring and realizes how social media and the news shape his public image. Even if their reasons aren't great, they still want to get better. So he decides not to go easy on them. He makes it harder, making them run while sensing magic to build stamina and mana. Minutes later, the trainees complain and ask what happens if they pass out. Minato says he can heal them with holy magic anyway, so they should stop crying and keep moving. Enemies won't care if they're tired, so the trainees push hard like their lives depend on it. After a week of this brutal routine, the Osaka police force's average magic power shoots up. On the last day, Minato gives a goodbye speech, praising them for surviving and growing in just 1 week. He tells them to keep training after he leaves since they protect Osaka's peace. When he finishes, both the trainees and their instructor are in tears. Soon after, Osaka's magic level rivals Tokyo's, all thanks to Minato Kusanagi. After leaving the training grounds, Minato dreads going back to Tokyo. Sure, another press conference or some other headache awaits him. On the way, news reports cover the new SMT alliance with the Homer and Kai families. People are reacting, and reports say big companies might start backing SMT. Don't worry, SMT is not part of the Tokyo police. As news spreads, everyone in Japan sees how powerful SMT is becoming. Reporters note the Mizuha family hasn't appeared, which is odd since they work with SMT. Rumors say they might be leaving just as Japan unites against the monsters. After landing, Minato asks the girls if they can reach their father. Yuka says she tried, but he might not answer since they were disowned. Still, Minato worries the family head hasn't backed the alliance yet. Ruka thought he'd step in once the other 2 noble families joined. Toshiharu's silence is strange, so Minato decides to check on him later. Seeing him lost in thought, the girls snap him out of it by praising his actions in Osaka and saying they're proud of him. Realizing he's in trouble, Minato joins their chat. Nearby, Shido notices that Chrono didn't show up while Minato was away. He's suspicious. If Minato leads the Shadowbringers and Chrono is an illegal mage, he'll have to arrest him. Even so, Shido hopes him wrong, because he believes Minato is meant to save the world. Walking home and complaining about his busy team, Minato is stopped by 2 of Toshiharu's servants who say he is summoned. Minato calmly goes with them. At the villa, an angry Toshiharu asks if his daughters live with Minato, threatening to kill him if he hurts. The Minato says they are just friends, but Toshiharu demands a promise that he won't touch them. Minato firmly agrees, wondering if this meeting was only about the daughters. He can still tell Toshiharu cares for them like a father. Toshiharu takes Minato outside and challenges him to an aerial duel. Minato agrees. Toshiharu attacks with water, but Minato's fire magic crushes it. Toshiharu praises him for using fire to beat a water user. Toshio accepts Minato's strength and trusts him with his daughters. Minato stays quiet, watching him walk away. The angry BR boss snaps when he hears Chrono is alive. He vows to crush everyone. He turns to his ally Toshiharu and demands proof of his skill. Toshiharu vows to Kuroi then declares war on the Shadowbringers. Back at school, Minato is already tired of all the attention. It's tough for others too. Fans swarm. Yuka and others hate her for it. 3 jealous girls decide they've had enough of the attention Yuka gets. When Yuka leaves class to use the bathroom, they seize the chance. Afterward, Yuka sighs about how exhausting all that attention is. The girls suddenly corner her and drag her to a hidden part of school. They try to scare her, calling her annoying and questioning her place in SMT. When Yuka stays silent, the heavy girl says she only got in by favor. The green-haired girl says she seduced her way, and Yuka snaps, saying she worked hard. The leader demands Yuka swear. She dislikes Minato. Yuka freezes, then Minato appears. Startled, the girls claim they were just talking about Yuka's special treatment. Their leader even says Minato plays favorites. Minato ignores them, looks at Yua, and sees her shame. The jealous girls lie, saying they want to help SMT. Minato plays along. He hides his anger and tells them to take the SMT course. He says they can join if they pass the test. Thinking it is easy, the girls get excited. Minato brings them to training. Ryuji and Ruka doubt. Uka worries Minato will let them stay. As the girls keep talking, Ryuji and Ruka grow suspicious. Minato tells them to relax. These girls need a lesson. Training starts. The redhead is exhausted. Minato pushes them hard, just like he did with the police. After 4 laps, Minato's doing one-handed magic push-ups. He keeps training while telling the losers to keep going. Next, they cast spells until they are totally exhausted. By then, the jealous trio decides to run away. As they sneak off, Minato stops them, saying they won't finish the warm-up. The girls panic and scream about harassment, blaming him for the hard training. Minato points to the SMT members, reminding the girls that they all struggled but worked hard to get where they are. He says SMT fights monsters and risks their lives to protect people. He adds that even if they doubt Eureka, she trains non-stop to improve. Calling her talentless or saying she cheated is just foolish. Staring the redhead down, he says Yuka matters to him and he won't let them insult her. Realizing they messed up, the 3 bullies beg for mercy. They just run off like cowards. Minato sighs, seeing how pathetic they are. Confused, Ryuji asks what happened, but Minato says not to worry. Later, Yuika thanks him for defending her, saying she heard everything. He says he just told the truth to stop their petty jealousy. He tells her not to worry. Uka laughs, repeating his words. Shyly, she admits he matters to her too. Deep down, she knows their feelings differ. That is enough for now. She thinks that once she is strong enough to stand by him, she might win his heart. Determined, she tells Minato to be ready for the day she can beat him. With Yuika's bullies gone, things return to normal for the SMT until the next disaster. In Tokyo, the sky turns red and monsters appear. People see the danger and run as monsters attack. Minato and Hinata are nearby, so they jump in. Hinata excitedly claims some monsters and burns them with fire. With no time to argue, Minato takes out the rest. He wipes them out with void magic. Responders and people are stunned to see the SMT and nobles fighting together. The nobles' image is improving since they joined the MST. Surveys prove it. Chrono handles rogue mage while the SMT deals with monsters. Because the SMT are students, people don't fully trust them to help yet. Later, Mono visits Kat as Shadowbringer. He uses a holy spell, hoping to help him wake up. But after several tries, nothing happens. He fears magic won't work, but he won't quit for Leona. The door opens and he hides. Leona enters and senses someone, but she ignores it. She tells how much she admires Chrono. Even though his training is terrible, his training is so tough it feels cruel. But as she jokes, her face changes. Holding Kai's blanket, she promises to keep fighting so no one else suffers like him. Even if it costs her everything, she swears to stop the Black Rebellion with Chrono. Then she breaks down crying, apologizing to her brother again for what happened. Hearing this, Minato quietly leaves for a warehouse to meet Leona and her new recruits. Later, Leona arrives with the new members. Minato surprises her by asking for proper introductions. She explains they aren't random people. They found her after seeing her posts online. She gave few details to test their seriousness. Since they found her, she tells Minato she already checked them out. The recruits get excited and gush over Minato, but Leona quickly shuts them down. When things calm down, Minato says he'll train them but won't go easy. The recruits don't back down and tell him to push them as hard as he wants. Happy with their spirit, Minato starts training. them so hard it nearly kills them. They were too excited at first, but proved they were serious. They learned fast under him. In a week, Minato built a hacking team and a squad to destroy BR bases. As Shadowbringer grew, he even gained support from the criminal underworld. With BR bases falling, the police are confused about the Black Mage's goal. But Shido stays firm. He sees all illegal mages as criminals. To him, Shadowbringer is just another outlaw who needs to face justice. Meanwhile, Kuroi rages because the Black Mage keeps fighting back. His team reports a new mission. Kuroi calls them slow but vows to kill Minato and Chrono. Watching training, Shido wonders if Minato is Chrono. While thinking, Ryuji and the girls apologize to Minato for breaking their bracelets. After listening, Monet says it's fine and figures the bracelets just reached their limit. Secretly, he knows a beginner like him can't make great anti-monster gear. He plans to ask Takagami for better gear later. Still, Ryuji and the others are mad that the nobles attacked just to test them. Minato gets it and admits he's angry too, but asks them to drop it since they have to work together. They agree but blame themselves for being weak. Then Yui asks what happened to the nobles, noting they looked totally out of it. Minato explains his drain spells stole their magic and wiped their memories, so they won't remember what happened. When training ends, Minato suggests walking home together, but his team makes up excuses and turns him down. Left behind, Minato accepts a ride from Shido. On the way back, Shido says a cop can't ignore Shadowbringer's growing power. Minato asks if Shido still suspects him. Shido avoids answering and lists Shadowbringer's traits, asking if Minato noticed them too. Minato plays dumb, saying he knows nothing. Shido is doubtful but lets it go for now. Minato asks if Shido views Chrono as a villain, since he hasn't done anything evil. Shido admits heard Chrono is a good person, so Minato asks why he hates him so much. Shido replies that Chrono is still a criminal, then shares his past to explain why. His dad was a great cop with a strong sense of justice. Others saw monsters, but his dad saw people who could change. Shido became a cop too, but his dad was killed trying to talk down a hostage taker. He was unarmed when the criminal attacked him with magic. He couldn't use magic, so he never had a chance. The killer was caught later, he said. He was scared of the unarmed man. Remembering that makes Shido lose control. He says victims should be the ones. Afraid he'll never forgive criminals honest. People need something to believe in. Minato realizes how deep this belief is rooted in Shido. Shido calms down, apologizes, and drops Minato off. See you tomorrow, he says. The SMT meets, but Minato is late, which is rare. He rushes out soon after, annoyed by long-winded teachers. Heading to training, he ignores two shady men watching him. Right after, a giant news screen gets hacked. The image flips and Kuroi appears on screens all over Japan. People know him as the former magic noble Kuroi. Ignoring the crowd, he challenges the SMT and promising a gift. He claims bombs are hidden across Japan and warns police to back off. Kuroi snaps his fingers. A building near Minato suddenly blows up. Minato fast, setting up shield to protect the people. Meanwhile, the SMT finds their data scrambled. Both they and the police are too slow to react. Anxious, Yuka wonders where Minato is. As the police Chrono come to the spot alone or all the bombs will explode. After checking the damage, Minato makes a decision and waits for night to move. At night, he puts on his Shadowbringer suit and heads to the meeting spot, an old warehouse. Leona checks the spot and asks if he's sure about this. Minato tells her it will be fine. With everything ready, the Tsona tells him to stay safe and come back alive. After calming Leona down once more, Minato flies across the city. He lands at the target warehouse. The lights turn on as he enters, revealing dozens of rogue mages. Koi smirks. He's been waiting to see him die. He claims everyone there is a pro-mage. Chrono asks if beating them will take down BR. Kuroi laughs at his nerve. A mage calls Crow a fool for fighting alone. Kuroi grabs his throat, saying that attitude is why people lose. Kuroi vows to kill him with no mistakes. Chrono asks if he's sure, but Kuroi warns that resisting triggers citywide bomb. Chrono orders his men to attack and they all rush him at once. None of them hit. Kuroi thinks Chrono used a shield and yells at them to keep firing. Chrono says level 3 magic is useless. Kuroi snaps, calling his men worthless. Chrono calls them trash. Kuroi swears will still finish him. He admits Chrono is usually too tough, but says these new guns change everything. Chrono thinks they're just normal guns and says they won't work on him. Kuroi fires, cutting Chrono's cheek. Chrono is hurt. Kuroi laughs at the look on his face. He says the gun is anti-magic and the bullets shatter all spells. He fires 3 more shots, grazing Chrono. Kuroi blames his rusty aim but is shocked when Chrono heals instantly. Kuroi thinks it's holy magic, but Chrono says it's natural. Kuroi says he'll just hurt him more. He shoots 3 more times while mocking him, but Chrono heals the grazes immediately. Now Kuroi starts to feel like something is wrong. None of his shots hit cleanly. He wonders if Chrono is dodging, then decides it's impossible. Chrono checks if the mission is done. Kuroi snaps at him for talking during a fight. Chrono casts a wind spell, wrecking the warehouse. Kuroi tries to blow up the city, but the bombs are disabled. Chrono vows payback, but the SMT arrives. Bombs are safe and tells them to give up. Chrono hides his identity and wonders if the SMT was waiting nearby. The SMT recognizes Chrono as the Shadowbringer leader and feels his massive power. Sonata knows Chrono is really Minato. Worried he's hiding injuries, she tries to help. The tide is turned. Chrono smirks and asks Kuroi, "Still want to fight?" Just when you think it's over, Toshio appears and offers to help Kuroi. Shocked to see their father side with him, the girls demand to know why. Before Toshio answers, Kuroi says they are comrades. Confused, Yuika and her sister keep demanding to know why he'd side with him. Annoyed, Toshio coldly says he doesn't owe them an explanation. The girls stare in silence. Shido orders Chrono's capture, but Chrono asks if he's really the enemy right now. The others agree they must work together, especially with Minato gone. Shido reluctantly agrees to help for now. Koi tosses special grenades. Chrono shouts, "Warning!" and they barely escape the blast. They know these aren't normal grenades. Chrono is shocked by the anti-magic gear Koi smugly shows off even more weapons under his coat. As Chrono fights Koi, the sisters hesitate to attack their father. Toshio seizes the moment and hits them with Azure Splash. Ruka tries to counter with the same spell, but hers is too weak. Toshio's attack powers through it. With no other options, the girls brace for impact. Ryuji shields them with a rock wall, saving them. Thank him, and Toshio admits they are a good team, but still much weaker than him. Yuka refuses to quit. The sisters combine power too, cast a massive crushes it with a stronger tidal wave. He tells them they weakened his spell, but they still have a long way to go. As they fall, Kuroi mocks them, saying even the Shadowbringer is helpless against anti-magic gear. He laughs that clearly has never faced guns before. With Toshiharu by his side, Koi says Chrono can't win and tells him to beg for mercy. Chrono stays calm, which panics Koi, who yells at him to stop acting so tough. He fires again, but Chrono dodges every shot. Koi, it's just luck at first, but quickly realizes it's not. Meanwhile, Toshiharu casts his level 8 water spell again and asks what they think. With no reply, he attacks, but Chrono dodges easily. Koi notices something odd and sneaks behind him. A level 5 dark spell knight. Raid still, Chrono avoids every and dodges Kuro's next shot too. As Chrono catches his breath, another wave of water magic rushes toward him. He raises a void barrier, but the hit cracks it. Watching from the side, the SMT is shocked by how much mana is used and feels useless. Knowing they can't face Minato like this, they decide to act and prove themselves. Shido, still bitter at Minato, sees his chance. With Chrono pinned down, he believes they can stop him, especially with backup coming for Toshiharu and Koi. Shido doesn't want to waste time, so he asks Sonata to help catch Chrono. She hesitates, questioning him. Shido insists Chrono is an illegal mage they must arrest now. She refuses at first, but he keeps pushing. He practically begs. Sonata clenches her fists. Shido thinks but she casts white magic on Chrono instead. Seeing this, Koi thinks the police just betrayed their ally and started helping Chrono. Shido realizes Sonata used a powerful healing spell on Chrono. Yells at the police for helping a criminal. Chrono ignores him, since he already heals automatically, but wonders why Sonata did it. Then he realizes she is sharing her feelings through the spell. He accepts it and keeps fighting. Meanwhile, Shido asks why she healed a criminal. Fed up, Sonata replies that Chrono is fighting for them. When he asks what she means, Sonata tells him to think, why are they still alive? And why hasn't Chronos left his spot? Shido stays quiet, so she tells him the answer. Chrono is protecting them, even while Kuroi keeps shooting him. Without Chrono, they would be Kuroi's targets. That is why he refuses to move away from them. Even then, Shido calls Chrono a villain, claiming an illegal mage wouldn't help police. Sonata reminds him that Chrono came alone to save others. Shido hesitates. Seeing the wounded Chrono makes him doubt his beliefs. The girls promise to fight with Chrono. Kuroi mocks them, saying, are too weak to matter. As the SMT attacks, Eureka says they can still fight despite low mana. They all look at Toshiharu floating in his bubble. They pull him down to the ground. Chrono attacks with Demon Blaze, but Toshiharu blocks it with a geyser. Seeing their teamwork, Toshiro sees he can't get to Chrono. He knows the SMT will keep blocking him, and they do. Sonata eagerly steps in to help Minato. As the girls push him, Shido gives in and joins them against Toshio. That finally makes Koi mad. Chrono praises the for stalling. Toshio, which angers Koi so much he vows to kill everyone. Then he unloads even more shots at Chrono. Chrono dodges every bullet perfectly, leaving Croy stunned. When Croy accuses him of magic, Chrono says Croy snaps, "This isn't a movie." Croy says he was just rusty against long-range anti-magic gear. Hearing that, Croy fires wildly. But Croy knows his pattern and slips past every shot to close the gap. Seeing bullets fail, Croy pulls out an anti-magic rocket launcher to blow them away. Before he can fire, Chrono uses an raid to rush him. Shocked, Croy takes a hit from Cruel, a dark spell that causes 3 days of pure agony. After dealing with Croy, Chrono turns toward Toshio. Though the team is exhausted, they held Tushiru back. Chrono smiles and tells them to leave it to him. He turns his full focus to Toshio. Before they fight, Tushiru surrenders. Chrono asks why. Leona calls to say police and Noble are raiding BR hideouts across Tokyo. She says it was planned and likely leaked by Mizuha Tushiru. Chrono asks if Tushiru was a... Tushiru admits it. Croy gets up and tells them to stop messing around. Chrono sees he used anti-magic gear to break free. Croy holds a detonator, threatening to set off nearby bombs. The team can't escape, so Croy and Tashio use powerful spells to shield them from the blast. Kuroi presses the detonator repeatedly, but nothing happens. He stares in confusion, insisting he planted bombs everywhere. As he panics, Leona arrives and says the nearby bombs are defused. Recognizing her as a Shadowbringer member, he demands she kneel and obey. Furious, Leona punches him hard. She says she finally got her payback. Kuroi boasts he is just a cog, and the real leaders are still out there. He collapses. Chrono wonders who runs up BR but picks up Leona and leaves before the police arrive. Yuika calls out, asking him to wait to confirm something. Chrono ignores her and leaps into the night sky. The SMT still can't catch him. Ruka, Yuika, and Ryuji wonder what Shadowbringer's leader is really like. Sanada knows Chrono is Kusanagi and is grateful he saved everyone. The next morning, news shows former BR president Kuroi was arrested. He's charged with terror plots, while police get credit for stopping the bombs. Watching the news, Hinata and Riku laugh at the police praise. Minato returns to his SMT job and visits the Mizuha home with his team. They ask where he was. Minato lies about a family issue and they buy it. At the Mizuha house, they are welcomed and led to a meeting room. The girls ask for answers, and Tushu says he only faked working with Kuroi. He joined BR to clear the magic noble's name and stop rogue mages. He reveals Koi was a dangerous criminal growing too powerful, so Toshu acted. When Yue asks why he joined BR just now, Tushu explains the police needed his noble status to get close to Kuroi, who worked with Fuka. That's how Tushu won his trust. He adds that although he isn't official police, he worked as a special undercover agent and won't face any punishment. The girls sigh in relief but blame the police for putting their father through so much trouble. Meanwhile, Minato reflects on everyone involved, the SMT, the police obeying the magic nobles, and Mizuha and Shiru's extreme plan. He wonders why the police waited so long to act when they could have stepped in earlier. To him, their excuse feels weak and sketchy. A flashback to Karoi's defeat shows Chrono and Leona, noting how the police somehow knew half the bombs were fake. Chrono wonders if the criminals ran out of real ones, but Leona thinks that's too sloppy. Either way, the police moved too fast, as if they already knew. She feels something is wrong, but they lack proof. Back now, Tushu admits his faults, asks for forgiveness, promises to support the SMT, and welcomes his daughter back. The girls cheer up, glad to be part of the Mizuha family again. Walking home, Ryuji feels he can finally relax after everything. Sanada calls Minato and Chrono her heroes and wishes she could thank them. Shido can't forget that Chrono saved them. If Chrono is really Kusanagi, he doesn't know if he should arrest him. Meanwhile, Uka feels uneasy. She realized eyes that night looked just like Minato's. She can't ignore it and wonders if they are the same person. Minato knows where this is going and realizes things could get messy. That night, dressed as Chrono, he visits Kai in the hospital and heals him with magic. With no response, Chrono tells Kai to wake up because his sister is waiting. Just then, Leona walks in. Chrono hides outside the window. Leona tells her brother that they beat the villains and he is safe. Kai says her name and she answers right away. Now awake, Kai welcomes his sister back and says he tried to stay strong while she was gone. Leona hugs him tightly, crying with relief. Kronos, knowing his job is and quietly flies away. The next day at school, Ryuji asks the others to help watch his siblings tomorrow. He explains that he and his mom both have to work late. Since he can't leave the kids alone, he asks for help. Minato agrees right away because he likes kids. Uka apologizes because she is moving to a bigger place instead of going back to her dad's. Yuika mimics her father, saying the sisters should stay independent as long as Minato is with them. Ryuji comments on that, and Uka says at least her dad is paying for it. Minato thinks it makes sense for the sisters to live together if Tuju wants them to be independent. At the same time, he understands why Tusharu wants him nearby now. Ryuji jokes about Minato and Ruka helping Yukik move, but decides they would just get in the way. He laughs at his joke and asks if Ruka can go with Minato. She hesitates, then agrees to help watch the kids. Ryuji thanks them and promises to return the favor. The next day, Minato and Ruka take Ryuji's 3 siblings to the amusement park since they haven't been in a long time. The excited kids say they want to ride the merry-go-round, the roller coaster, and the Ferris wheel. Minato laughs and promises they'll ride everything. As they head out, he sees Ruka trailing behind and calls her over. Her tense face makes the kids nervous, so Minato asks why she isn't smiling. Not wanting to ruin the fun, Ruka apologizes, forces an awkward smile asking if that's better. It just makes her look scarier to the kids. Before they start crying, Minato calms them down and leaves a sad Ruka alone for now. After that, the 5 of them ride the roller coaster, Ferris wheel, and merry-go-round before heading home. While watching the happy kids, Minato notices Ruka still, looks down and decides to talk to her. When the kids go to the restroom, Minato tells them to be careful, leaving him and Ruka alone. Ruka mentions how excited the kids were and tells Minato he's amazing because children look up to him. Minato brushes it off, but Ruka admits she's bad with kids. She doesn't hate them. She just doesn't know how to talk to them. Minato understands. Ruka apologizes for acting cold, feeling she is worse than her sister in every way. She can't cook, connect with people, or be as caring as Eureka. Even in magic, her only source of pride, she's falling behind. Ruka says she's far from perfect, just a clumsy woman who can't handle anything alone. When Minato stays quiet, she apologizes, whining and tells him to forget it. She sees the kids returning from the bathroom in the crowd. The oldest bumps into a bully who picks on kids and threatens to record them. Minato starts to step in, but Ruka moves first to protect the kids, so he stands back and watches. She quickly pulls the boy away and asks if he's hurt. The boy cries, and she is relieved he is okay. Then the bully and his friends demand the kid apologize, but Ruka refuses, saying the kid did nothing wrong and the bully should apologize. The bully swings at Ruka, but Minato catches his fist. He calls him trash, who only makes trouble. He warns him not to mess up a public place. As the bully begs, Minato lets go, grumbling about troublemakers. Once they leave, he checks on everyone. After seeing Ruka protect them, the 3 kids hug her, crying and thanking her. Ruka freezes, but after Minato looks at her, she hugs them and says it's okay. They enjoy the rest of the day in peace. That night, Ryuji comes home and apologizes, hoping his siblings weren't too much trouble. Instead, he finds all 5 of them asleep together, like a happy family. Over time, Minato, Chrono, and the Shadowbringers gain attention, making the police look worse. Though praised for responding fast to the explosion, the SMT's success made the police look bad. In a meeting, Tokyo police argue they can't let the Shadowbringers run free and ruin their image. Agreeing, the general superintendent orders them to arrest the vigilantes and bring them in. Meanwhile, at the family dojo, Minato and Riku practice with wooden swords to test their skills. For 10 minutes, fight in total silence, striking and dodging with intense focus. Finally, Riku calls it a tie when they both land a fatal blow. He admits Minato's sword skills are impressive. He's surprised Minato can fight evenly with an assistant manager. Minato says he still has a lot to learn, making Riku admire his skill and humility even more. After putting the swords away, Riku complains about how annoying life is. He says he only feels motivated with a sword. Without it, he'd rather be a plant. Minato tells him not to die, saying it's fine to just live and do nothing if it makes him happy. Riku calls Minato interesting and admits he always felt out of place. His sword skills only made him feel isolated from others, which frustrates him. Minato reassures him that he isn't an alien. It just means everyone can see he's special. Riku is shocked because no one has ever said that before. Minato mentions feeling the same way, remembering a time in his past when he faced a terrifying near-death experience. He fought back and awakened his power then. However, Riku just assumes Minato is talking about his old traffic accident. Minato remembers learning magic by copying monsters. He was the only survivor. He tells Riku he couldn't save anyone, and people thought he was strange. Now he helps others. He asks Riku if there is something he wants to protect. Riku realizes there is. Minato says to use his power. Riku thanks him, agree to work together. Minato thinks Riku is a good guy, a noble even with his odd habits. He thinks Riku is better than the fake and mean people he knows. Minato bumps into someone and apologizes, sees it is that brat Hinata. Hinata sees Minato and demands to know what he is doing. She doesn't wait for an answer. She is still mad about an annoying guy she met. Minato asks why she isn't wearing her flashy outfit today, and Hinata replies that she doesn't wear it every day. It's anti-demon gear for official work. Minato's note is really into it, then realizes she actually is. Soon, people nearby start staring at them. To avoid trouble, Hinata tells him to follow her somewhere else. Too tired to argue with her, Minato just follows. They end up at a cafe and sit at an empty table hoping to blend in. It fails. People whisper and stare, even hinting they might be on a date. A few sharp glares from Hinata make everyone quickly look away. Minato stays calm, viewing her as a mad dog and deciding not to provoke her. Once the room settles, Hinata asks about his meeting with Riku. Thinking she's jealous, Minato apologizes for not inviting her to the dojo. That makes Hinata snap, and she insists she isn't upset about it. In her mind, they are just working together for now, not friends. She looks jealously at a happy family. Minato says, that's fine as long as we can still work together. Annoyed by his calmness, Hinata asks how he got so strong. When Minato blames a road accident again, she calls it a lie. No one gets that strong from just that. She knows his magic power is abnormal, and magic doesn't work that way. Minato notes to himself that he's suppressing his power even more than before. Hinata says if risking death raised magic, no would. Fed up, she demands the truth. Minato knows she's desperate to get stronger, but explaining his reincarnation won't help, so he tells her to just train normally. Hinata sighs, frustrated that Minato is read and sits down. The waitress apologizes. The wait and brings their order. Minato is shocked by the huge parfait, but Hinata beams, saying she's been craving it. She pretends it's the wrong order, then happily eats it while a confused Minato watches. After finishing, Hinata breathes a sigh of relief and admits she's always wanted to try this cafe's dessert. She felt awkward coming alone, so hanging out with Minato was perfect. Minato realizes she has a real sweet tooth. He checks her energy and sees it leaking out. As soon as Hinata realizes she's let her guard down, she ends the date, says they're done, and rushes away. After she leaves, Minato realizes he just saw the magic she was hiding. It's clearly much stronger than when they last fought. Normal training couldn't have boosted it that much so fast. Minato thinks Hinata Homarai is hiding something. At work, Shido suspects Minato might be Chrono. Kusanagi vanishes whenever Chrono appears. It's hard to believe they aren't the same person. As the police hunt closes in, worried Shido looks at a family photo, hoping for his father's guidance. That night, Leona warns Chrono the police are attacking Shadowbringer. Raids are everywhere and members are being captured. Chrono realizes the SMT is hunting them too. He almost admits he's Kusanagi but stays quiet to protect her. He trusts her, but staying silent is safer. He shares just enough and tells her. Next day, Minato asks Takigami for help and she agrees. The police chief rages when told they still haven't found Chrono. Officers report that captured members know nothing. The angry chief orders them to use force to find Chrono, claiming the department's pride is at stake. Shittu tells the team to find Chrono. Since his location is unknown, they've released his info to the public. Despite the pressure from other tasks, Shido orders them to find him. The team complains they are already too busy. Minato says this shows the police are desperate, which makes escaping them even tougher. Shido ends the meeting, stressing that stopping monsters is still the top priority. Sonata asks if they are serious. Shid replies they have to obey orders. Ryuji and the Mizuo sisters complain that they do all the hard work. Shido says he knows, but the bosses are scared of the Shadowbringer's growing influence. Worried about rogue mages, Shido tells Minato to drop the act. Minato is offended and asks what he means. She calls him out as Chrono and tells him to give up. The room goes silent, then the girls jump in, insisting Minato isn't Chrono. Seeing their reaction, Shido suspects Yuka and Sonata are also working with him. Shido tells them that even if Chrono saved lives, he must turn himself in for a lighter sentence. Better than running from the police. He points out how Chrono and Minato look alike and are never around at the same time. He asks if it is really just a coincidence. When nobody speaks, Shido presses Minato to reveal who. Just as Minato starts to answer, Sentada interrupts and shows them a live broadcast. The Shadowbringers have seized the station. On screen, Minato is still there, but someone else claiming to be Chrono appears. The fake Chrono apologizes, then talks about rumors of a fight between him and Minato. He challenges Minato to a duel in public, stunning the world. The team is stunned and Shido wonders how Chrono can fight Minato if they are the same person. Sonata and Yuika doubt their theory because it makes no sense. Ryuji and Ruka, confused, ask what Minato will do. Minato says he accepts the challenge. Hours later, the country watches as Kusanagi and Chrono prepare to fight in Shibuya. Helicopters circle above as reporters cover the massive crowd gathered for the event. Police are on standby to arrest Chrono if things get dangerous. Fans cheer while Ryuji the fight a media circus. His teammates show him the huge online streaming numbers. Shido watches Minato closely, waiting for one mistake. There's no turning back now. Hinata and Riku find Toshio at the arena. He says he had to see this fight. Suddenly, a bright light shines over the arena. A blue beam hits, nearly crashing a helicopter, causing a massive blast. The smoke clears and Chrono, the fake leader, appears on live TV. Shido is shocked. Hinata and Yua wonder if Minato and Chrono are different people. Minato sighs, saying he hates making a scene but has no other choice. When the fake Chrono stays silent, Minato skips talk and attacks. In front of thousands, Minato opens with a level 6 inorganic cannon spell. The fake Chrono counters with a dark Chaos Raven. The blast creates a massive shockwave. The news helicopter pulls back immediately to stay safe, ignoring reporters who want to get closer. As the first spells fade, both fighters rush in and clash fists to truly start the match. They trade blows in close combat, neither giving up ground before backing, a way to use magic again. This time, the fake Chrono fires level 9 lightning spell straight at Minato. Minato is unhurt, but complains that Chrono isn't holding back and ruined his clothes. Silent, the fake Chrono, a level 7 Earth Comet. To stop it, Minato uses a fairy's help to make a level 9 shield that smashes the comet to pieces. Minato looks at the fairy who helped. Seeing this, the crowd cries tears of joy. Some even say they don't care about nobles anymore, because these two are on another level. Meanwhile, some of Minato's girlfriends faint from the intense aura he gives off. Hinata grumbles that null magic users are just idiots who love showing off flashy spells. Riku notes that both Enro and Minato can use level 9 magic. Hinata adds that their mana and spell knowledge are totally insane. They use top-tier magic and still have power left. Minato's magic even seems to move on its own. Hinata says few mages can use continuous magic, let alone automatic magic. Minato uses magic to boost everything. He's a wall of power. They've surpassed even the magic nobles. The fight between Chrono and Minato reaches its peak. Minato catches the fake Chrono midair and kicks him to the ground. The fake Chrono bounces back. Instantly, everyone is shocked. Now they see why. These two are legends. Sanada says the fight is blowing up all over social media. Shido says the fight is at its peak and the whole world is watching. Scenes flash from cities like New York and Seoul where everyone is glued to. The fight between Chrono and Minato. After a long fight, Minato tells fake Chrono he held out well, but it is time to end this. Minato thinks he won, but fake Chrono attacks with a dark spell. Minato uses a level 10 spell to crush the attack and smash him into a building. The SMT members are shocked by Minato's incredible power. Yuika wonders how strong he is, charges at Chrono while the news crew tries to keep up. The pilot can't track his speed and the reporter yells when the feed cuts out. Minato stops and lowers his guard. As Minato looks away, Chrono starts a dark spell. Minato tells him to stop the act and the fake Chrono disappears. Minato says he is glad the trick worked for everyone to see. He thinks the gear Takigami made has reached its limit with that level 9 spell. He realized clone magic is useful but hard. The fake Chrono was weak and could barely speak. While Minato checks the results, Takigami is glad the plan actually worked. When she learned Minato was secretly Chrono, she was shocked he went that far. Since nobody can cast 2 spells at once, Minato barely had time to recast his temporary clone. Maintaining 1 spell meant no room for others. That's why she made automatic gear. If the gear casts on its own while the user is out, multicasting becomes possible in theory. Still, Takigami knows Minato needed massive energy and control to handle both at once. Otherwise, the clone would have attacked the crowd. But Minato controlled his huge magic and staged an amazing fight. Against himself, Takami says only he could do that. With the match over, Minato calls Leona as Chrono to tell her to stop jamming the broadcast. Leona asks if it's done and he says yes. Then she calls him Minato, saying no one will chase Chrono after what they just did. Shocked she knew, Minato asks. She admits she's known for a while but never said anything. When he asks why tell him now, Leona says she feels this is her last time seeing Chrono. Minato agrees. Leona thanks Chrono for saving them all. With crime low, Minato says lay low. Leona offers him a discount. Minato says he'll keep that in mind. Say goodbye and return to normal life. Once he hangs up, his team rushes over. Uka and Ruka ask about Chrono. He escaped, but needs time to recover. Shido apologizes for wrongly accusing Minato of being Chrono. Sanada and Yua also apologize. Minato tells them not to worry since everyone makes mistakes. As he leaves, Hinata yells, asking how Minato and Chrono got so strong. She knows she must get stronger to catch up. Shido wonders how much magic Minato really has. Minato realizes the act worked now, that BR is gone, so the team isn't needed. Kuroi's words still haunt him a few days. Later, he starts streaming, selling merch, and going on TV. At school, girls crowd around Minato to hug, or Ryuji, Ruka, and Eureka wonder if their famous boss can handle it. They don't know he's already losing his mind from all the attention. To him, these girls are just too much. He jumps out a window to escape, cursing Shido for making him famous. Thinking he's safe, a new crowd finds and chases him. He spends the day begging to be left alone. Home, Ruka and Uka ask if he's okay, then talk about moving. They finished packing while he was running away. Minato thanks them. Eureka explains their 3-room place, giving everyone a room. Girls blush, realizing they won't see him sleep anymore, leaving him confused. His phone rings. He answers Takigami on the balcony. She asks if he's doing okay after the chaos. Minato says he's fine thanks to her, but the fame is strange. Takami laughs that popularity is tough. Minato tells Takami she can call anytime she knows his true identity. After hanging up, she looks at an old photo and wonders what to do with her life. Unfortunately, the story doesn't show what happens next. Days later, dozens of new recruits gather at the field, hoping to train under Captain Minato or join the Mizuha sisters. Yuika's shocked by the large crowd, but Ruka says they only came from Minnow. Ryuji warns that if they can't survive the brutal training, they're done for. When Minato steps onto the field, the recruits instantly start fangirling over him. Tired of the praise, Minato releases a burst of terrifying magic that freezes them in fear. Once they quiet down, Minato says, "I plan to go easy on you today. I see no reason to." The other SMT members know their boss is annoyed, but the recruits have no idea. When Minato puts them through his harsh physical and mental training, they quickly collapse and complain. Some call it abuse and threaten to quit. But just when they think it's over, Yuka and the others keep blasting spells at Minato's barrier. The recruits stare, realizing this isn't normal training. Minato ends the session, says they'll test magic next. He gives them 5 minutes to rest. The recruits think Minato is a monster, while Ryuji and the sisters plan to improve. Seeing that, the recruits feel like monsters too. One guy cries because his view of the sisters is ruined. Soon they test their magic. Yuika gets 120 and 0. Ruka gets 118 and 0. Ryuji gets 105,000. Sanada gets 100 and 0. And Shido gets 112,000. The recruits wonder if the SMT matches the magic nobles. Minato says UI worked hard to get strong. One recruit asks if they can too, and Minato says yes if they try. That motivates them to improve. Minato checks their power and thinks they can beat a demon chief or general. But Minato knows it's not enough. The Demon King and God are still threats. Shido walks over to Takan. Tell by his face it's bad news. Later, Minato complains about the stressful party he has to attend. Shido thanks him for coming. Minato asks if the party was necessary, and Shido says the nobles are celebrating their power. Plus, the police look better now. Minato accepts it and fakes having a good time. Minato compliments Shido's suit. Ryuji says he dislikes formal wear, but Minato praises how he looks in it. Shido says the girls are here. Uka arrives in a nice gown and apologizes for being late. Ruka arrives in a dark blue dress, also saying sorry for the delay. Sanada arrives in a green gown, surprised by the big turnout. Yuika asks Minato if she looks weird, but he says she's cuter than usual. Then he starts giving all 3 girls dramatic compliments. His flashy praise makes them blush. Watching this, Ryuji realizes Minato never holds back with girls. Soon after, Hinata walks up in her usual bad mood. She's wearing a red gown with Toshu and Riku beside her as family heads. Minato praises her too, but Hinata gets annoyed and tells him to stop. Fed up, she walks away with Riku. Confused, Minato asks Toshiharu why he's here, and he says it's part of their deal. Tosharu leaves quickly, shocking Minato with how blunt he is. The girls apologize for their quiet father, but Minato says it's fine. Suddenly, Minato feels a weird vibe and turns around. He sees a girl in a black dress. Before he can speak, the host starts the event and introduces the guests. First the SMT team, then the Magic Nobles. Finally, the Magic Association head, Momoyu Hifumi, and his daughter, Chloe, appear. Minato recognizes Hifumi from his time in Doanbanbori. Knowing the girl is Chloe, he doesn't know what to do. He stays quiet as Momoyu Hifumi walks up to speak. He begins by discussing the country's ongoing monster crisis. He says an alliance between the mage nobles and the SMT is the best answer. Hifumi promises to protect peace and help all mages succeed. He finishes his speech to loud applause. Minato thinks his message was clear and well said. He sees Chloe smiling and wonders what she wants. Hifumi tells the SMT the mage nobles will help protect the country. He smiles at Minato and says he looks forward to working together. They shake hands and Minato secretly checks his magic power. It seems Hifumi is still extremely strong. Minato feels he hasn't changed at all in 50 years. This brings back memories of meeting young Takigami and Hifumi at the training grounds. When the new cadets joined, Ichigami Minato told them all to attack at once. But young Hifumi yelled back, calling him names and telling him not to underestimate them. Young Takigami scolded Hifumi for speaking that way to a living legend. Hifumi didn't care who Ichigami was. He swore he'd smash that smug face into the dirt and teamed up with Takigami, using water and dark magic. The two attacked together, but Ikami wasn't impressed. He stopped it easily with a simple level 1 spell that only made Hifumi angrier, but Ichimi ignored him. Then he used earth magic wood spears to knock out every cadet. Many lost heart after that, shocked he handled a level 4 spell so easily. Ichami held back and expected them to quit, but Hifumi got right back up. He declared the fight wasn't over and said he was just getting started. Takagami, just as determined, joined him for another round. Pleased to see real potential, Ikami let them attack again. They fought hard but lost, realizing just how powerful Ikami was. With most cadets gone, Ikami was impressed by the two who stayed. He stopped the practice and told them to rest. He turned. Hifumi attacked again, saying the fight wasn't over. He promised to beat Ikami, then collapsed. Seeing his determination, Ikami knew the boy would become a great mage. When Takigami also tried a sneak attack, Ikami knew the group got two interesting recruits. Before fainting, swore to beat Ichami Minato. Ichami said he'd wait for that day, and the memory ends. Now Minato, Ikami's reincarnation, thinks about how that wild boy became rich and powerful. He wants to reveal his identity, but remembers Takigami's warning and decides against it. Soon the SMT is introduced, and the guests start to mingle. Just as Minato relaxes, Chloe walks up to him. She introduces herself, saying she wanted to meet him. Minato praises her. Magic and chats. Chloe laughs, saying she's not on his level. Minato agrees her magic seems weak, but something feels off about her. He can't figure out what it is. Chloe hopes they get along because her gut tells her to trust him. Minato carefully chooses his words. Nearby, Ruka and Yuika feel uneasy watching them, though they try to tell themselves it's just a greeting. Later, Chloe says she looks forward to working together, and Minato agrees. Sheikh Seo senses his magic, says she's glad he's a good man. She says they will meet again soon and walks away. The next day at school, Minato deals with the usual trouble from the girls. Just before he loses his patience, the teacher walks in and introduces a new transfer student. A moment later, Chloe walks in. She says she's from Kimuyu Academy and sits. Minato is shocked she transferred. The class recognizes her as Chloe Mumu. They're surprised a Mumu is in public. The teacher leads her to the seat. Chloe sits down quietly. Minato whispers his surprise. Chloe says she told him they'd meet. He watches her. Class ends and everyone stares. Yua notes Chloe's popularity as boys crowd her. Ruka and Ryuji wonder Chloe so fast, thinks the timing is suspicious. Ryuji still doesn't trust the mage nobles and hopes this isn't a scheme. Minato and the others decide to watch Chloe closely for now. Later, Shidu says Chloe's Mumu is joining the SMT. Someone shouts, "What's she doing here?" Shidu says Chloe will help the SMT and nobles build trust as a bridge between them. That's why she's joining the team. Given a chance to speak, Chloe says she is Mumu's daughter and hopes they treat her well. Her gentle tone calms Yuika, who welcomes her with a handshake. While they talk, Shidu apologizes to Minato for the surprise, saying it was a direct order. Minato says it's fine and admits he expected this once the alliance was announced. Shidu seems relieved, though he keeps watching Minato for a bit. To test her ability, Minato puts Chloe through the same hard training as everyone else. Even when training gets hard enough to make recruits, complain Chloe easily beats Eureka and the others. No matter how hard Uka tries, she can't catch up. Chloe is clearly on a different level. During the break, Chloe asks if it's time to stop since she has lots of energy, leaving Uka shocked at how calm she is. Chloe walks to Minato and says his training is strict, asks if it's old-fashioned, but she says it makes sense. Building. The body improves fighting, and using magic while tired boosts skill. She adds that his tough style and shouting really help motivate everyone. Minato praises her insight, and Chloe proudly reminds him she is the best. Soon Uka, Ruka, and Ryuji say Chloe is strong and asks to learn from her. Chloe praises them back, saying she always has trusted the SMT. After that, Chloe turns back to Minato and keeps chatting with him. Meanwhile, Yua feels uneasy about how charming Chloe is. Everyone likes her, and maybe Minato does too. Knowing Chloe is stronger, Yuka worries she will become Minato's main support. She and her sister shake their heads, trying to believe Minato won't betray them. Still, they glare at Chloe as she talks with him, wishing she would be more careful. As the SMT and nobles work together, Minato sees that the nobles now respond much faster to disasters. With the SMT expanding, casualties are clearly down. Still, disasters keep on rising. So Minato knows they must stay alert. The link to the next episode should be appearing on your screen. Just click on it and you can watch it.